death to immortality. This is an ancient Upanishadic prayer, and I think this is the right prayer to begin this conference, because you're all people from the media and the content. When I heard of the summit's name, content, I thought I would talk about the virtue of content, being content with whatever you have, your lot in life. But it turns out to be the media content. Nevertheless, it's equally important. So I am thankful to the Fourth Dimension Media and all the associate partners, Shankar, Bharat, everybody and Vijay, who invited us to be here to inaugurate this conclave. And I was wondering what should I talk to you all about. But then I thought our scriptures come to our rescue every time we are in a dilemma. So you simply dive into the ocean of content that is our scriptures and borrow some ideas from there. So I borrowed one idea from Manusmriti, which says, Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat, na bruyat satyam apriyam. Priyam cha nanratam bruyat, esha dharmaha sanatanaha. Which means speak truth, satyam bruyat. Priyam bruyat, speak pleasant things. Na bruyat satyam apriyam. Do not speak truth which is unpleasant. That is how they interpret it. But I say it, do not speak truth in an unpleasant way. Speak the truth nevertheless. And priyam bruyat, speak pleasant things. Nanrutam, do not speak untruth even though it is pleasant to hear. This is dharma sanatanaha. This is the eternal law. This is the eternal duty, obligation of those who have got a mouth and a tongue to speak. So they have a responsibility and accountability for what they speak and how they speak. And I think that goes for all the content creation that we do. Because what kind of content we create, with what intention we create, whether it is truth and spoken in a pleasant way or whether it is unpleasant truth, all these are the questions that we must ask ourselves. So I thought without taking much time, I wanted to leave everybody with these two ideas. One is responsibility and another is accountability. The responsibility part is speak the truth, but in a pleasant way. And accountability is, even if it is pleasant, don't speak untruth. I think if these two things, if we follow from our scriptural injunctions about what kind of content we create contents which are based on truth, but pleasantly, not unpleasant truth, not sensationalized truth, but real facts and spoken in a way that is acceptable, understandable, and inspirational to the people who hear the truth. Nevertheless, they must hear the truth. But if it is a pleasant untruth, do not speak about it. Pleasant untruth sells very fast, as Mark Twain says. The lie has the capacity to travel half the world when the truth is still putting on its shoes. And in this time of technology, artificial intelligence, deepfake and internet, lie can travel 1,000,000 times around the world, while truth is still figuring it out how to present itself. So this is the time of huge responsibility, especially for the media personnel, the fourth pillar of democracy, which supports the roof of democracy under which thousands and millions and billions are sheltered. So unless it is strong, it cannot uphold this very virtue of democracy that we are blessed with as a country. So my appeal and my request to all the content creators is, please uphold these great virtues of speaking the truth and truth alone, but speak in a pleasant way so that it's appealing, it's understandable and acceptable. And however pleasant it might be, however profitable it might be, do not speak the untruth. And that is the kind of responsibility you must shoulder. And I wish you all the very best, because as I see a lot of eminent people are there, Dushyant is here, and a lot of people from other industries are also here, not directly media, but media is an integral part of our lives. And I always say for the four pillars of democracy, they are like pillars of a temple. They must stand together yet apart in order to deliver their duties, in order to discharge their duties. So to that extent, each of these spheres should influence the other. To that extent, they should remain independent of each other. Like pillars of a temple that stand together yet stand apart is what Khalil Gibran says. That is the kind of media, that is the kind of content creation, that is the kind of content dissemination that I'm looking forward to. We run a lot of schools, educational institutions are in and around the world. And the biggest challenge that I face is that 11 months we look after the children in our residential Gurukulam schools. 1 month they go out for holidays. And then all the 11 months of good is undone in 1 month of social media exposure. So you are doing a lot of damage to my work. And you have a great responsibility to ensure that we have right kind of content available when these kids go home and they access social media or whatever. they're inspired, they're motivated, and they come back more inspired than what they left. And that is the kind of media partnership that I'm looking at. I have not had much of exposure to media, and as I said, these 4 pillars are there, but I always keep myself at a safe distance from all the 4 pillars. So to be safe is better. And however, it has become a necessary to interact with people, to tell the right thing. And now a lot of spiritual content gets created. And this also is a great influencing thought. And if sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a tendency. Sow a tendency, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny is what they say. So content is the thought that we seed in the minds of the consumers. And from there that their destinies are written. So how responsible and accountable we should be, that is what I think we should discuss and understand in our conclave over here. And wishing all of you the very best. Again repeating, speak the truth in a pleasant way as content creators, and however pleasant the untruth is, do not speak. And pleasant means profitable to me. So please be very mindful of your responsibility. I think you have a great job to do, and I wish you all the very best, and I look forward to working together in whatever way we can to spread more good to more people in the world, so that the world becomes a better place to live in than what we received from our grandfathers, our forefathers. We should leave behind a world which is better for our children, and we all can do it together by creating the right kind of content. Wishing you all the very best and praying for the success of the conclave. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words about responsibility and accountability for the content creators. May I request Mr. Dushin Sridhar to speak few words.
Namaskarams to the all of you. My pranams to Swami. And it was such a galaxy of people who have achieved across different fields who had gathered on the days. And just a few minutes of my thought. At the outset, I'm very thankful to the organizing team led by Shankar. After my participation at Bhagyanagaram, Coimbatore, and Madurai, we are now in the capital of Karneshu Atati. The state is called Karnataka because it comes from the root word Karneshu Atati. It seems that the valor of the people who ruled and the greatness of the subjects in the state was so very high that when news of success used to reach the ears of Mahalakshmi, she used to shake her ears in acceptance. As she used to shake, the jhumkas that she had in her ears also used to dangle. Since the news of the state brings happiness to the ears of Mahalakshmi, Karneshu Atati, this state is called Karnataka. And we have this concept of adding a suffix. So, Kanya becomes Kanyaka. Bala becomes Balaka. So, Karnataka became Karnataka. So, we are in the Rajadhani of Karnataka called as Bengaluru. And I'm extremely happy that we are in a place that gives us no worries. It is called Ashok, right? So, there's no Shokam here. That said, the name of the summit reads South India Content Summit. With so much of hullabaloo over the word, whether it is India, South of India, South India, North versus South, I generally feel the way it should have been coined is like how most of the offers in the shops work. If you look at the offers, it will be 50%, and the word up to will be like Vamanavataram at the bottom. So 50% will be like Trivikrama. So it is India which should be like occupying a font size of say 50, And South may be the font size of 5, because as a nation, as a country, we are one. That said, in Kishkindha Kandam, Kishkindha is in Karnataka, when the Vanaras had to go in search of Sita, they were distributed into 4 teams. So they were distributed into that team which goes north, that goes east, that goes west, and that goes south. So the word South India should be taken in that context, because we are a large country to administer, to get an understanding. We look at Karnataka or South India as a very smaller term to administer. That's all. It has nothing to do with a north versus south divide. One. Second is content. When the word content comes into discussion, the word that should come as an adjoinder is delivery. Though the word delivery is not there in the name of the summit, please do take content and delivery should go hand in hand. Vagarthaviva sampriktau, says Kalidasa. Both the word and the meaning that is associated with the word have to go together. Content and delivery are equally important. Swami did mention about the Vachanam from Smriti that talks about how truth should be spoken, what kind of truth should be spoken. We should always remember that we come from a land where our scriptures have always been unfiltered. If Valmiki had thought that he should not be telling whether Rama killed Vali with that arrow, he could have just cut that portion. He could have cut the portion of Agni Pariksha. Who would have asked him? But he wanted to present content as is. So we should be very, very mindful about how content should be presented and how it should be delivered. In fact, my acharyas used to state, 49% is content, 51% is delivery. The way you deliver matters a lot. And finally, the word summit. We have discussed South India, we have discussed content, and finally comes summit. I'm sure a lot of the experienced luminaries here would have participated in plenty of such conclaves and summits. It does become one juncture to exchange contacts and make connections. At the same time, each of us who participate should have at least one takeaway from the summit. And that, if good, should be implemented at the earliest. Else, there is a saying in Tamil, Kachadanal ayapayan yenkol. If you participate in a session, there should be a takeaway, and that takeaway should be implemented. Else, that doesn't serve the purpose. So I'm sure this content, this summit, Content Summit, South India Content Summit, which is happening in this Rajdhani of Karnataka, will be extremely blessed with such luminaries, and through the day you will have interesting sessions. And I pray to the lotus feet of Paramatma that he make it such a big success, and there should be such positive outcomes now that we are looking at an election year where there could be content and miscontent also. We should aim at only the positive things, so that I'm sure Bharata Desham will rise back to the best of its heights, like how we have seen in the Vedic and in the post-Vedic times. Dhanyosmi, namaskar.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words about content creation, content delivery, and our takeaway from it. Now may I request Mr. Shri Hemant Nibalkar, Commissioner DIPR, Government of Karnataka, for a few words.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಗುರುಪದೇಶ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಈಗ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ನನಗೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳೋದು ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Already what has to be told has been told by two gurus. So now it is very difficult for me to talk and comment about what to say. But as I head this state for information and public relations, I have some responsibility and to share my thoughts on content and content creation as well as content delivery. Thank you, Shankar. Thank you, Vijay, for giving this opportunity that as a representative of the government, I am sharing my thoughts on content and impact of content and the way it is spread, whether it is true or whether it is. I'll just give one example. I'm a cop. Basically, I'm a cop. Incidentally, I'm in Information and Public Relations Office. Whenever an offense happens, the news is big. A small kid murdered. An old age woman raped. This becomes a headline. This is the content. Whenever conviction happens for 20 years or lifer, the news is this small. The content is this small. Because the content has lost its relevance. 10 years back, that murder has happened, that particular rape has happened, and today, because last 6 months I am looking after this particular department which deals with news. And how the news is created, how the news is generated, how the news is spread, I am trying to study when the relevance has gone. So what I feel most important about content is relevance. Whether it is relevant and how you are telling it. We are literally not bothered, like most of the content. I look after digital media also. Karnataka is coming up with digital media policy now for all content creators. The draft, it is in draft pipeline, and we are coming up with a robust digital media policy so that digital content creators get their due. At present it is not, but we are in that process. One thing I have understood, that internet has no eraser. Once the button of enter is pressed, the information is sitting somewhere. And it is going to rebound when you are saying something else or contrary, and somebody is presenting that information which you have spoken, written, expressed, shown. It will come after 5 years that, boss, you were saying something like this, and now you are saying something like this. These contradictions. So internet has no eraser. Books, old books, disseminate, thoughts continue, but internet, it keeps it as it is. So my request to content creators through this podium is, when you are creating content, the conflict is between popularity and authenticity. If you are authentic, your popularity will grow slowly. But if you want to chase the popularity alone, then you are open. Then you can say anything which can create fire for the temporary moment, and then people are following you. Now, this is what is the conflict which I am seeing on regular. We do monitor content creation. We do monitor social media platforms. So many platforms are there. Most of them are content distribution or dissemination platforms. So what is happening is one small thing is blown into something else which has no relevance to the actual fact. And then somebody has to fact check it. And now every government across the world is thinking there has to be a fact check unit. The content creation has gone up to that length. Swamiji has already told. Truth is the thing which will prevail. Beyond that, nothing. Rest all contents will be for 2 days and then it will go. You may increase with some followers, but that's it. But those followers, after watching you, after watching your brand, after watching your reality, they are going to leave you. So when you are creating a brand, and when you are trying to create that brand recall within your image or within your whatever you are calling as your digital aura, please understand the only aura which continues is the truth, what Swamiji has said. Now, presenting the truth, delivery, I'll come to delivery, there are different ways. A truth can be presented in a factual way, like Maharishi Valmiki said, or a truth can be presented the way today's media presents it. There's a vast gap. We are not bothered about privacy, personal privacy, institutional privacy. We are not bothered about legal aspects of defamation, insult, hurt. We're not bothered about. We want this to hit, attract the people for a moment. My breaking news, my headline, my byline, if I am selling it for that day, Swamiji told about profit. But today, the profit is going in this direction. Today's attraction. So with this August gathering, as a representative of government, I would like to say one thing, that please ensure that your truthfulness, you are near to truth. Poetic license, journalistic license, I am not saying. Opinionated write-ups and presentations, I am not coming in that realm. That is your realm. Content creators, poetic license. We don't want to come into that, but earnestly, because it is uncontrollable. Print media, digital media, electronic media, there are controls, there are registrations. But digital media, there is no registration, there is no censor, there is no control. So only control which remains is self-control. And we are not at all bothered about it. With these words, the clash between popularity and authenticity, we have to balance that conflict. It is not conflict itself. If you are truthful, today or tomorrow you are going to be popular. It's not thesis or antithesis. It is just you have to come up. You have to come up. Every matter can be told. What is the best upadesha, they say in Bharat Muni's Kavya Shastra? Bharat Muni says literature. This is literature. New age literature is content. Reels is a new age literature. So Bharat Muni says, what is the definition of literature? Kanta Sammita Upadesha. The way wife tells his husband in the Via verse. That Upadesha, husband receives it 100% and acts upon it. So Kanta Sammita Upadesha still continues. And I think we will be following those footsteps. Both the gurus have already told the actual what should contained, what should be there inside the content and how it should be delivered. And I think we should follow this Upadesha in totality. Popularity will follow. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.
Thank you, sir. May I request you to please be on stage to felicitate Mr. Nishan Nizar, founder and director of Arman Zain Consultancy, to receive a memento. Thank you, sir, for your kind words on how responsible should digital media be while posting a content. Thank you.
Every reader is an explorer of information, knowledge, creativity, innovation, and art. We at The Hindu have always made sure that the journey of the explorer is an extraordinary experience. So we heard what you want and we are delivering it. Introducing a smarter and cleaner news reading experience with an enhanced visual design upgrade and reader-friendly features. Our authentic and credible journalism remains intact. Now, our redesign matches it. With hard-hitting headlines, bold typefaces, and bigger pictures. The Hindu is now designed to be cleaner, sharper, and bolder. So get ready to sit back, sip your coffee, and open our redesigned newspaper. It's not just a newspaper anymore. It's an experience. Every reader is an explorer of information, knowledge, creativity, innovation, and art. We at The Hindu have always made sure that the journey of the explorer is an extraordinary experience. So we heard what you want and we are delivering it. Introducing a smarter and cleaner news reading experience with an enhanced visual design upgrade and reader-friendly features. Our authentic and credible journalism remains intact. Now, our redesign matches it. With hard-hitting headlines, bold typefaces, and bigger pictures. The Hindu is now designed to be cleaner, sharper, and bolder. So get ready to sit back, sip your coffee, and open our redesigned newspaper. It's more. It's an experience.
South India Content Summit attained its glory today due to its patronage of our sponsors. Our sponsors, powered by Trend Loud, The Hindu, agent partner Omnicom Media Group, innovative content partner Radio City, digital partner Serie 1, regional partner Republic Kannada, Republic English, V6, Velugu, Puthiya Thalaimurai, Puduyugam, IBW, outdoor partners Tribes, news partner Republic TV, event partner Benchmark Events, associate sponsors Wigaden, stationery partner Brill, cultural infotainment channel Shankara TV, wardrobe partner Botticelli. Let us start our event with leadership session 1. We regret Mr. Sharma couldn't join us today. Let us watch a video he has sent for us.
Hello everyone and a warm welcome to all of you and a very, very happy new year. Firstly, my apologies for not being able to attend the summit due to a personal medical emergency. The South India Content Summit is being launched at a critical juncture. It's a great platform for sharing ideas around leadership, understanding various nuances of what's happening on the content ecosystem. I'm sure all of you are going to benefit out of this. Fourth Dimension has been doing some stellar work in the last many years by bringing together like-minded people and helping the industry to think forward on various aspects of the advertising and marketing fraternity. We are super proud to be part of this summit as the exclusive agency partner. I want to thank Shankar and his team who are doing a stellar job to continue doing this kind of platforms which unites all of us professionals, entrepreneurs, leaders across industry, critical stakeholders to come forward and share their knowledge with all of us. I would like to thank all of you for attending this session, and I'm sure you're going to have a wonderful day. And please make the best use of all the sessions. They're really, really wonderful. It's my bad luck that I'm not being able to there, but please make full use of the sessions and have a great day and a wonderful year once again. Thank you.
Mr. Karthik Sharma will be replaced by Mr. Shankar, CEO of Fourth Dimension Media Solutions, as moderator. I request Mr. Gopakumar, COO Bima Jewels Kochi, Mr. Vijay Sunku, Managing Director Parimal Mandir Agarbathis, Mr. Chitti Babu, Chief Innovation Officer Star Health, Mr. K. Madhavan, Founding Member and MD, Peps Industries Private Limited, Mr. Rishikesh Damli, MD and CEO of Atrum Pharmaceuticals, as panelists on stage, please.
Taking a central position today. Okay, for guys who are expecting Karthik Sharma here, big disappointment. I don't know if I'll be able to do justice to what Karthik will do. I'll try my level best to keep up to his expectations. I'm not getting into too much of intro. So because this is the first session and I don't want people getting bored on, because you're all visionaries and industry captains. I'll actually straight dive into thank you, Bangalore, ladies and gentlemen. The people we have here are experts from different fields. We have Mr. Madhavan, who's the king of mattress. And we have a jeweler. And then we have innovation king, you know. For people who don't know Chitti Babu, one can find him on YouTube, and he's delivered a lot of speeches at the TED and so on and so forth. And I have the incense king, you know, Vijay Sunku, whose company, I guess, is one of the third largest, or probably one of the top 5 companies in the world. And then we have the pharma expert. So it's a, the session is basically, I'm starting with GK, as he's fondly called. You've been in this space for close to 3 decades now. When I say 3 decades, in the retail space and all that. In the last 3 decades, by saying 3 decades, I'm not saying you're old, you still look young. In the last 3 decades, a lot of things have changed. Consumer demands, technology, and yours is one category. When you're talking about buying a metal, people would like to feel it. So have you been able to live up to the expectation of your consumer? And what are the trends you've been noticing in the last 3 decades?
Good morning and namaskaram to all. Thank you, Shankar, for that question. I know Karthik did a lot of hard work to put things together.
I'm just copying his questions.
And yeah, they were difficult questions in a sense, yeah, thought-provoking, and hope whatever emergency that he's having, he's dealing with it. So nice to be here. And yeah, I've been with retail. I'm a career retailer. I've sold fashion, food, and now I'm selling jewelry. Each of it has its own dynamics and challenges. Just a bit about Bima. We are predominantly in South India, and all the southern states we operate, and we also have some representation in UAE. That's really what our spread is. As far as retail is concerned, it is close to now a $900 billion industry. That's what it is. And retail currently is about 18% of that. The modern retail is about 18% of that. The rest being obviously traditional retail, your typical mom and pop stores. And they continue to thrive in India and continue to resonate well with consumers. The challenge is with the modern retailers, with a lot of technology, a lot of processes, loyalty programs, data analytics, content management, being very relevant. That is what the whole game is about. Consumers shop across formats. It's not that they shop at a particular store. They shop across a kirana shop, as you call it, the mom and pop shop, and that's not changed for any one of us, I'm sure. You pop in and pick up something, and they're very active on WhatsApp today, right? So you could just, it's not that they're technology agnostic in that sense. You could just send in your shopping list and they would deliver it to your house. And also you could shop at the large multinational e-commerce giants and experience state-of-the-art services, right? So consumer today is exposed to a lot of media, a lot of channels, a lot of technology. So what do we do as a brand? As operators, we need to be relevant. We need to be ahead in terms of consumers' aspiration where they are currently. And what is it that they are seeking, And consumer is not looking at stocks, offers. Consumer is looking at relevance, a relevant product which meets a particular need, right? So that's what we have worked on, and whatever technology, and I'll speak about it as we go along, has been to satisfy that need to, kind of launch technology in a very calibrated fashion so that we do not lose the legacy that Bima has over 100 years. At the same time, we are not alienating our old consumers, but attracting new consumers also into our fold.
This is a 100-year-old brand. Big round of applause. 100 years. My God.
So that's what it is, Shankar.
Madhavan sir, when we speak about changes, there are brands which follow trend. Like there was one dialogue of Amitabh Bachchan which said, "Hum jidhar khada hote hain, line udhar se shuru hota hai." Like that, when we talk about mattress, you from being a salesperson to an entrepreneur, 18 years of facing tough competition from, various mattress makers. Just take us through, how did you leverage disruptive innovation?
Thank you. I welcome all the participants here in this good day of discussion. I am sitting next to gold, am I right?
Yes.
So I am rich man now, and that gives me a confidence to speak to you all. Coming back to me, let me give a small introduction about myself. When Shankar, a very good friend of me who knows me from many years, called me for the summit, which is Content Summit, South Indian Content Summit. I asked him, Shankar, what is the role I have to play in this summit? Because I am called, if you Google out my name, they call me as Mattress Man. It is, synonymous with Batsman, Spider-Man, Rat-Man, and many man. I said, what do I do here in the Content Summit? He said, sir, you don't know yourself. I said, that is true. Please tell me what you know about me. He said that you are a dream maker. You make closer to about 6 lakhs metal spring mattresses. That means nearly 12 lakh people sleep on your mattresses. And when they sleep comfortably and they dream, and you are the biggest content maker. And your content is, unmatched by any sort of content that's available today. Because your content is innovative, your content is creative, your content is imaginative, and your content is productive. I asked him, why do you say my content is productive? He says, when content starts with dreaming, all content starts with dreaming. And when dream is put into practice, it becomes a solid content that gets into productivity. And basically you are doing that. And thank you very much for that, Shankar.
Pleasure is mine, sir.
Now he was talking to me about how I survived myself. Am I right? Amid of huge competition around me, my business. To me, Shankar, competition is everywhere. As soon as you start your day, right from kitchen it starts. Your spouse is a competitor for you. And if you could manage her, you should be able to manage the rest of the competition across you. I am speaking to you all from my practical experience. There is no theory behind what I speak. It's all what I had and I felt and I did is what I'm going to speak to you. That means competition, according to me, is a mindset. Once your mindset says there is competition, then everywhere there is competition. In fact, to be frank with you, when I go to my office, I head the marketing also, incidentally. Being in the marketing field from ages, I head the marketing invariably. Though I have president marketing, vice president marketing, many a time I get myself involved in the marketing. I always tell them that don't start your day with thinking about the competitors. Moment you think about competitor, rest of the day you will do nothing. So to me, if you ask me, name a few competitors closer to you or challenging you in your business, take it from me, I don't remember them right now to name like that. That means competition is mindset. But one thing is very sure, that as an entrepreneur, you must have two things in you. One thing is called capability. Another thing is called competency. If you have these two things, then rest of your life is very free. If I go back to my, enterprising days, I was working for an organization for closer to 30 years. And having worked with them for 30 years, at the age of 55, someone came to me and said, Mr. Madhavan, since you are in this industry and you know much about this industry, I have an offer to give you. I told them, what sort of offer you can give me? At 55, if you give me a new job, I will not jump and come. He said, sir, it is not any job-related opportunity. It's a business-related opportunity. I asked them, what is that business-related opportunity you are talking about? They said that in Coimbatore, which is around 300 kilometers from Bangalore, they were three partners, we have set up a small manufacturing unit, manufacturing metal spring mattresses. The day we set up was our unfortunate day, because this country has only seen coir mattresses, this country has seen only foam mattresses, they haven't seen any metal spring mattresses. We set up in 1995. While we are talking to you, it is 2005 or 6. In fact, they were talking to me and my partners. And when I am talking to you, our turnover was only 1 crore rupees per year. And we were not able to push this product at all for various reasons. Now we want to dispose this business. Why don't you take it up? I said, Yaar, you are a good friend of me. I am comfortably working with somebody and getting that monthly salary. Do you want me to give this burden and see that the rest of my life I repent for that? He said, no, sir, you can do it. Your people can do it. That was the day when one of my partner by name Manjunath, a very enterprising person, found that there is scope in this business, and we agreed and we bought that company. Believe it or not, we bought that company for such a low price. You will wonder. The reason is we felt that price is justifiable because the land in Coimbatore, which was near to Lee Meridian, even if we don't do any business there, we can sell that land. That was our confidence level. And when we bought this land, and when we wanted to enter into the business, we did one great thing. What we did was, we disrupted the industry, mattress industry, otherwise known for coir and foam. We have disrupted the industry by making the metal spring mattresses most familiar mattresses in the country. Hitherto nobody were knowing about metal spring mattresses. I don't know how many of you are sleeping on what sort of mattresses. Come whatever it is, 77% of the world's population today sleeps only on metal spring mattresses. Remaining 23% sleeps on coir, cotton, foam, whatever you call it as. But in India, metal spring mattresses was rarely known. That could be the reason why this fellow was not successful. So we took over. We felt that we need not want to innovate anything. Only thing is, we must disrupt the innovation which is already there. There is a mattresses, there is a product, we should disrupt it. All that we did was create a brand out of these metal spring mattresses. Create awareness to the people that metal spring mattresses is more hygienic than any other mattresses because it is an inorganic product and which doesn't sag, which doesn't smells, which doesn't rots, and it will live lifelong. This communication we put in the mind of people by creating what is known as a brand. Now, in order to create a brand, I want a content. What should be the content? I was searching, how should I present myself to the people with a brand? One night, I came across a great idea while sleeping. That is, the company which is sold to us had a name called Peps. The name Peps have derived from those three partners, who were earlier managing the company. The first P stands for Pitambaran. Second P stands for Pushpakaran. Third P was standing for Srinivasan. That was Peps. Then I got up and I called our creative agency and consultant and asked them to be present in the office. I said that I want to create a brand for this. This was the third year, I think, second or third year. I said I need to create a brand for my company. Can you suggest me what should be my brand? They said, sir, what are you asking? Having served 35 years in an organization making mattresses, being a greater part of that organization in building the brand out of the mattresses, why are you asking us? I said, yeah, you are our consultant, I should give you some work for you. Suggest me what it is.
This gives a hope for a lot of people. They still have chance to come and pitch.
Is it?
Yeah.
Nice. So they will say we are better than what you have. They said, sir, it's very easy. Any name you give should have on. What? I said, what do you mean by on? They said, sleep on, sit on, stand on, rest on, eat on. I said, no, I don't want on. They said, then it should have a suffix well. I said, please explain me. Sleep well, eat well, run well, dance well, everything is well. I said, I don't want both of that. Then they said, you are into problem. Second suggestion they give is, your brand should be in red color. I asked them, why do you say red color? They said, all leading brand, the leader of this mattress brand is red color. So that without much effort, you can connect your brand to them. By suffixing their, subname, you can connect very easily. I said, these two things I don't want to do. I wanted to have a name. People must ask what this name stands for. And I want to have a name which should be very, very simple and small. And I want to have a color which is nowhere connected with red. They said, then you suggest. I said, yesterday night I thought about it. I want to retain that name that company gave who sold to me that Peps. They said, Peps, you can, but then what will you tell people? Pitambaran, Pushpakaran, Srinivasan? I said, definitely not. Okay. I will talk perfect explanation to peaceful sleep.
Oh, very good.
Then I found they were putting that Peps in capital letter. I told my creative agency, ensure that the brand is associated with sleep. They said, how do you make that name associated with sleep? I said, simple. Show this eyebrow at the bottom of it. And ensure that this capital letter Peps is removed and all the letters are slanted towards one side. That means they are sleeping.
Very good.
And I told them, give blue color to it. They said, sir, blue, mein kya hota? It is not attractive. I said, don't worry about attractiveness, because 35% of successful brand in the world is with blue color. Red is only 22%. Yellow is 17%. If you go theoretically also, blue is this. Another thing I told them is,
sir, blue
indicates that it is endless. Blue represents, see, sky is blue. My brand is endless. Infinite, my brand. I may add from mattresses to many things over a period of time, which I have did it. Now I am into bed sheets, bed linens, bed covers, and all sort of things. I may even produce T-shirts tomorrow. I said that should be the brand.
Super. Madhavan sir, I'm going to come back to you. Can we have a big round of applause? Words of wisdom coming from experience.
Exactly. Yeah. It is not experience, your keenness.
Correct.
When you have nothing else to do and this is only left to you, you will work harder towards it. And that has happened to me. Super. Thank you, sir.
Vijay, sir. See, good afternoon, sir. You, such a powerful brand, Parimal Mandir, you're seen everywhere. I think you're probably one of the few categories where people, once they wake up in the morning, you know, they instantly they think of you. See, auspicious. So your particular industry has seen a lot of environment challenges. And you've, you know, crossed all of that. And so now tell me your understanding, you know, so what are the emerging trends would you need to build a sustainable brand?
Yes, very good morning to all of you here. We are a company called Parimal Mandir, established way back around 70 years back, a third generation company into this incense business. And in India, we go by a tagline of every prayer is answered. And world over, we are there in more than 50 countries where we sell as a aromatherapy, aromacology, or whatever you call it as. And this has been a pride that we have sustained the competition, the troubleness across for last 70 years. That is due to the strong foundations, the core values that was established by my respected late father, Sri Sunko Gundeya Shetty. With nothing in hand, he established this business and could sustain for so long itself is because of the core values he has established. Coming to your point, Shankar, this is a very high volatile FMCG product that you would look for. We need to fight with the unorganized competition which exists in every nook and corner of this part of the country. And also, of late, the multinationals getting into this space has really made hardened for this industry to survive and thrive. And in this process, very few companies have sustained, and we are one among them. And we take pride that we could do it. And that is because of the strong value on quality that we have kept intact. When you lose out for the competition, as Mr. Madhavan sir was telling, the competition is always there. But when you think about always the competition, then you will not be doing anything on your own. So just focus on what you have to do. Just focus on what you deliver and always keep that core value intact, that quality is the one thing will stay forever, and that is what will embrace you for a longer time. And this is the principle that we lay on, and today we are proud that the third generation into the company also have calculated this habit, and we hope we will sustain, and because we believe only quality is the thing that can sustain.
Super. Chitty, your company recently unveiled a strategic alliance with Fincovenio, right? If I've pronounced the name right. How crucial is it for you to develop strategic partnerships, and I guess you are already a market leader, right, in this domain. So just take us through, and then how have you gained through this partnership?
Let me give a quick brief about what I've been doing. So I'm new to the insurance industry. So spending like 14, 15 months now, otherwise predominantly been in the banking, payments, fintech space. So whatever UPI, QR, all of us are using, so I've been part of the journey. Worked in organizations like Amex, MasterCard, Geo, HSBC, various global roles. So I've seen where I still remember 2004, I moved to Bangalore. So I was paying my landlord through a check of a bank account from Chennai. And that took 10 days to hit his account, and he charged me because it was outstation check, right? And right now, even for 10 rupees, all it takes is 1 second, right? So I've been through the journey all through, working in that industry very closely. And I've seen in Scandinavian countries where people put a chip in their palm and tap and pay, right? We are tapping the card, they tap their palm and pay. And 99% of the transactions in those countries are largely digital. The 1% is because tourists don't know, so they bring their euros or the local currency, right? And I've seen at the same time where in Germany, OPM is own personal money, so they don't believe in credit. Whereas in US, is OPM is other people's money, they believe in credit, right? So being seen that the money movement, the way people pay, the way people transact in the last 23 years changed dramatically, and that's going to change much more further, right? And if I can give some interesting example, right? We all love Starbucks. I guess some of us know, some of us may not know. They also operate as an unregulated bank because we all take their prepaid card, we load money and buy those coffees. And they have $1.5 billion sitting in those accounts, or approximately 12,000, 13,000 crores. So if you look at 85% of the banks in the US has a cash balance of less than $1 billion. Right? So Starbucks has more money in their balance sheet provided by all of us, right? Which is more than 85% of the banks in the US, right? And the breakage income. So if you like, it's a very payment word. I'll give a very simplification example. So if I gift my friend on the left-hand side a Marks and Spencer's gift card for 10,000, he uses for 6,000 and forgets about the rest 4,000. That's the breakage income for Marks and Spencer's.
Gift it to the right-hand side.
Yeah, right-hand side. I'll gift you more, right? And so that's called breakage income. So the breakage income of Starbucks is roughly $150 million year after year after year. And we think they sell coffee, right? And McDonald's, we think they sell cheeseburgers and milkshake. If you look at their balance sheet, approximately $42 billion is a real estate asset. They are the 5th largest real estate asset holders in the world. And we think they sell cheeseburgers and milkshake, right? So the reason I'm mentioning is that, right, what we see from outside, and if you remove the gift wrap, what you see, in deep is much, much different. We think Amazon is an e-commerce company, but the largest logistics company. Any of us can set up an e-commerce company in Bangalore in less than 48 hours, right? That is the content digital part of it. But they ship 12 million shipments on a daily basis average. So that day in and day out is all about the logistics. Right? So what we see from outside, what we see exactly is different. And if you look at AWS, the cloud service of Amazon is as big as the Amazon e-commerce division itself. Right? So fast forward, the reason I'm mentioning all this is that what we consume is what technically not offered because data is the new oil. That's where Tesla's market cap is more than 16 automobile companies put together. Right? So given this context, in the insurance industry, I find it really interesting because, for example, if you buy a mobile phone, you're gratified. You buy a watch, you're gratified. You buy a jewelry, you're gratified. Insurance, you don't. If you're buying life insurance, somebody else gratified because it happens after your death, right? In fact, jokingly, we say that if you have a lot of life insurance on you, some people will want you dead, right? So if you look at health insurance, so we are the largest player in the health insurance. We hold 45% market share. But the penetration is very low. So if you look at in health, the gratification happens when you're at the lowest point of your health, right? So you don't want to gratify it. Imagine, right? My consumer buys my product and say, you know what, I don't want to use your product. Because when I get to use your product, it means I'm terminally ill, I'm sick, or something wrong with my health. I don't know whether I would survive. So it means day in and day out, my job is to make sure, and that's very bad for a B2C company. So my customer currently interacts with me at the time of paying the premium, right, which is once in a year out of 365 days. Second, when they want to claim, which they want to avoid. We also want that to not to happen. So day in and day out, when I get up till I go to bed, even when I'm sleeping, how do I engage with my customer? How do I engage, want my customer to think, hey, you know what, how do I access Star Health today? So I need to build the wellness program, you know. So I have a gentleman in the healthcare industry. And so that is very critical. So can I reward him for being healthy? Can I reward her for doing those 10,000 steps or 8,000 steps? So I need to bring in a lot more into my product composition itself rather than just an insurance product. Now coming back to your question, insurance penetration is very, very less, right? I'll give a simple example again connecting to the payment. So we were driving across Tamil Nadu along with family and friends. We stopped by to have a tender coconut water in a tier 4 village on a highway side on the street side. And there was an old lady who would not have stepped into a school even for a day. She had 3 QR codes. So out of curiosity, I was asking her, why 3 QR codes? She said, I have 2 sons. One is doing his 3rd year in this college. Other one is doing 1st year in this college. So I need to send money to him. So whenever I need to send money to him, I use the first QR code. Second, send the second QR code. Third one is for me. So imagine as somebody who's that old in a tier 4 village down south, not stepped into a school for a single day, their financial literacy, illiteracy is so high. But when it comes to health illiteracy, if you look at the most educated, most sophisticated, well-learned, their kids' birthday parties happens in, I don't know, name those brands, you know, the burgers, pizza place, which is extremely unhealthy. So if you look at the awareness, literacy, generally to health literacy, there's a huge gap. So we need to bridge that. And we are working with the regulator. So that's why partnership with like Finequas, there's a press release we did with the largest retailer in the country who do those domestic money transfer. So we want to reach bite-sized product to the masses. Insurance is largely covering India, but not Bharat. So many of this partnership is very critical, and that's what IRDA wants to do as well, because the government of India and IRDA has set a target of insuring 1 billion life by 2047. And we are grossly underinsured. And recently also, Zerodha CEO founder said that every Indian is getting into bankruptcy, and there is only one stage, which is like one hospitalization can get somebody into bankruptcy, because medical inflation is growing high. So it's extremely important, and I'll close it with one interesting stat. So if you look at JP Morgan, which is the most valuable bank in the world, and they spread across the globe. And if you look at United Healthcare, they are our peers and operating in US, only in US. Their market cap is more valuable than JP Morgan. So imagine, right? We are Star Health, we are 45% market share in a country where the raw material for health insurance is people, and we have 1.4 billion of them. So internally, we are saying that, hey, can we be bigger than HDFC Bank? Because if United Healthcare can be bigger than JP Morgan, right? So that is the level of market scope available as well. That is why you have seen Narayana Hridyalaya recently getting into the health insurance space now. And there's some 12, 15 licenses pending in the regulator as well. So this is a segment that is going to really blast open, because health and wellness become a very core point, especially after post-COVID. So it's not about insurance, but health and wellness surrounding as a byproduct to it.
Thank you for those stats and insights. I have a doctor here. Dr. Damle is the founder of AtriMed Pharma and specialized in, it's a very technical thing, so I don't want to make a fool of myself. Plant-based medicines, right? And doctor, just take us through that, yours is one category, like we have the biggies here, you can say go buy gold, buy insurance, buy incense stick. How can you, what do you tell a consumer, plant-based medicine, just take us through it. So what have you done?
At the outset, let me thank Fourth Dimension for calling me here. I'll start with a story. So I'm going to make a movie, and there cannot be anybody else who can be hero than Shankar. Agree with it, right? So in this movie, he's a managing director of a big company. Why I'm telling you this is because content makes the image, and what kind of image content.
I'm not taking it serious, don't worry.
Anyway. So outside his chamber, there's a receptionist with a modern attire. Should I name her Jalajakshi or Monica? Why? This is what the content and the press has created. We make images. So when you talk about Ayurveda, for example, people have an image of mortar and pestle and, a pill, a black pill. And so I'll tell you another story. I used to practice and I gave up, 2003 I started this company. So one day I get a call. I was at the golf course in Chikmagalur, and my friend Shivaprakash, she called me from Germany and said, you have to come here. There's a summit. I asked him, what summit? He said, it's about the QA, quality. I said, okay, I'll come. So I went and gave a speech. So I was talking about the quality control in pharma industry, how we do, everything about documentation, etc. So one gentleman got up. He asked me, do you know where you are speaking? I said, yeah, I know. I'm speaking in Berlin. An Indian speaking to Germans about the quality? I said, I take it as a serious insult to India, but anyway, I will give you a business class ticket. Please come and see my factory. If you're not happy, I will give you a return ticket. Otherwise, you have to give me back my money. He came. He saw our company, and he became my partner. And today, he is the guy who sells my medicine across all over Europe, 40 countries. In fact, he's a specialist on Gandhi. I think he knows about Gandhi more than all of us. He owns all the color prints of pictures of Gandhi.
Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi.
Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. So, just to tell you, when I accidentally came into Ayurveda because of poverty. So I'm very critical about everything what is written there. I look at scientifically. So I'm also faculty in various pharmacy colleges and biotechnology colleges. So one of the biotechnology colleges where I went, the HOD said, Rishi, you have to do, I'm fondly called Rishi everywhere. So Rishi, you have to do one research for me. I asked him what? He said, my mother used to give some medicine for snake poisoning. I was just a little bit of snake poison. Okay, sir. So I just left it there. And the next year when I went, he said, you did not do anything for me. I asked, what was it about? He said, that's snake poison. I said, sir, snake poison is not a joke. You cannot give some, medicine and cure it. It's so difficult. And, snake poison has so many proteases which kill the protein, and, that's how. He said, no. My mother used to give, and I still. So I was just thinking, I'm an Ayurvedic doctor. He's a biotechnology HOD, and he's telling me, and I am not believing it. I said, sir, then I will let me do some kind of computer simulation. Okay. From the beginning, I am very fond of chemistry. There are 390,000 plants on Earth, and there are around 425,000 unique molecules, chemical molecules on plant. And I have the library, and I'm the only person who has the library of this across the world in virtual. So I said, you tell me the plant. He said, Coix lacrima jobi. It's a kind of seed. Then I said, I will do some computational biology work. So he said, what is that? I said, in your own office, there is somebody, my name Bharat, who can do that. So we go systematically. And I said, see, the only way a snake poison can be stopped from spreading is if there is one trigger, because viper's poison is different from cobra poison, king cobra, everything is different. So only that could be one trigger. Is there a one trigger? So we had a discussion for a long time, went through, realized that there is something called three-finger protein, which is present, which is a trigger for all the poisons to start. So we did make a structure out of that. We understood the sequence, we made a structure and saw whether there is anything in this plant which will stop this particular protein. We found there were 3 chemicals in that plant. So I got a little more confidence and they said, let's do a study. So we did an animal study. 10 animals will be injected with the poison. 13 animals will be injected with poison. 10 will be given this particular plant. Another 10 will be given water, and another 10 will be left alone. The one which is left alone, they will die in a matter of 4 to 8 hours. The one which we gave water, again died in 4 to 8 hours. The other ones were dancing in the morning. So we had to kill them because that's how. So now I started getting, confidence that there is something. So lot of things what we have in Indian system of medicine or Ayurveda, we have to critically look at with a kind of, see, first thing you need to have confidence in that it's really going to work. Secondly, you need to put your heart out and do some research to find out. So Atrimed is one of those such companies where we do critically, we have worked on, apart from that, we also do new molecular research. We have worked on vaccines. We have done some immunity kits for vaccine makers, etc. But, looking at this particular space totally differently from what others do is what is the success of Atrimed, and that's what we do.
Super, super. Okay, now, I don't know how much time I have. Now we're getting into a very interesting session since we have leaders here. We're going to be talking about risk-taking. And GK, so I've gone through your profile and I've seen you've done a lot of things in life. And see, you are currently the chief operating officer of one of the largest jewelry brands in the country today. So when you try and do something, there's a lot of resistance. So now, but there are certain things you need to definitely, you'll have to overcome that and do it. Just take us through it, you don't have to quote us the instance, So how do you basically, tackle resistance? But well, it is good. It's good for an organization. Quickly, I don't know how much time we have. Okay, 2-3 minutes.
Sure, I'll be quick about it. When you work in a, like he said, Shankar said, it's a 100-year-old organization, right? And it's profitable. It's built a legacy over the years on trust and goodwill, and that's what it is. So when you bring in, so-called modern retailers into the system, what happens is, I've worked with Unilever and I worked with a couple of other big brands, So you try to bring in a lot of processes. You try and bring in a lot of technology. You try and bring in so-called new age practices. That's an easy thing to do in that sense. It's very templated kind of an approach. So when I was looking at how do I go about it, because obviously the promoters have now got you in to kind of formalize and transform and do things like that. I saw what is it that sets this brand really apart from, the others, and why has it been consistently profitable over the years while, it's not been, putting up 10, 20 stores, and each of our stores are a 100 crore investment, right? That's how big the investment goes into our store. I saw an entrepreneurial zeal which is there. So how do I balance that entrepreneurial zeal in the organization and, kind of co-create these processes, get buy-in for the technology and the change management, and we could do that. Change management puts fear into the minds of people, right? So how do you kind of, mitigate that risk? By kind of having transparent, discussions with them, bring in state-of-the-art technology, showing value for each of the stakeholders, and also say, not putting fear that the whole world is changing and everybody is going digital, and there are losses to be made when you just go digital. How do you keep profitability around the corner and do it in a very calibrated fashion? Bring in technology which really adds value to your consumer's life and also adds value to the employees over there in the organization. Carry the new and old together again. Like I said earlier, carry the old consumers who have been loyal with you and the new age consumers, be relevant to them. It's the same kind of balancing act is what I think I tried to do. And we've implemented state-of-the-art technology framework now, moved out of legacy system. And usually when you implement technology in the past, you put an SAP or JD or whatever, you see a 20 to 30% dip in sales, right? Because of adoption, because of resistance and all of that stuff. But when you do it in a manner which, and take a little longer period, and parallelly run both the systems and kind of, take care of it, we've managed to actually grow, in double digits after implementing state-of-the-art technology. And Microsoft itself has come and told us that, this is one of the best implementations that have happened. So yeah, that's how we kind of mitigate risk by co-opting, taking people together and understanding that one differentiator which is there in the brand and being true to that differentiator. That is entrepreneurship in this case, yeah.
Super. Vijay sir, you run a family-run business. So how tough is it for you to, decision making? Well, a lot of people say that family-run business, you can take your own decisions. I don't know. I mean, I'll give you a mic. So can you just take us through nuances of decision making?
See,
Your
the
chair is
deci-
not bed of roses, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, taking decisions is very critical for any organization and any business house, whether it is a family or business, a medium enterprise, a large enterprise.
A lot of people think here that when you are in lunch or dinner, all your brothers sit and take decision. Simple? No.
It's not that easy also. The thing is, risk in a small enterprises is very much easy to handle. Handle in a way, the entire departments and responsibilities are given to an individual to manage and handle, and it is his prerogative that he shows his courage and how he manages the risk. And every time it is very easy until unless it is not so complex to handle a risk factor. And especially in a smaller enterprises, risks are relatively low because the risk is always covered, or rather, I would not say it is insured. It is taken care well beforehand, even it gets exposure. So relatively, the risk factor is very cautiously we move because it involves a hard-earned capital. And capital is something which we believe is only to generate profit and not to afford to lose it. And this principle keeping in mind, we always ensure the risk is low, and when it is high, we ensure collectively it is decimated, and we also learn from the previous mistakes or failures that we have attained. So that would be the key thing to cover the risks.
Super. Dr. Damle, your very interesting project, Save a Mother Foundation. Do you think it's a risk or it's an opportunity? Quickly in 2 minutes.
Yeah. It's a big risk because challenging. We started in Amethi, who represented
what a
Amethi
place.
for. We wanted to show that what others could not do, we can do. That was the only aim. Because the infant mortality and maternal mortality rate was so high, it's a shameful rate, and we have brought it down to the US standards now. So it was a risk because politically you will be looked into differently. Plus, challenging a place which is not known to us. Okay, my partner is a doctor, and he was a major in Indian Army. So he's always excited when we do risky things. Only thing I need to do is keep it secret from my wife.
Good. Chitty. One big risk in the insurance industry. So like for example, you wanted to do something, then you go tell your bosses and then, or whatever, no, this can't happen, then it will collapse. But you still went ahead and did that one thing. Just take us through that in 2 minutes.
Yeah. So we launched first in the industry, UPI QR code payment to renew the premium and also to buy the purchase. So currently, if any of our customer wants to buy their insurance policy, they come to the website. It takes 2-3 minutes, the payment gateway page. What we did is we did a dynamic QR code, pre-embedded one. So the QR code comes to your email ID or through a mailer or on your phone, on a WhatsApp. Your policy details, your name, the amount that you need to pay, it's all already pre-embedded. All you need to do is scan and pay the 6-digit, 4-digit code that you put on your UPI page or the QR code page. So it takes exactly 2-3 seconds to complete your purchase, right? But what happens, you need to go through the compliance because insurance is highly regulated compared to the industry that have been there earlier. So you need to go through all the checks and balances because somebody can send a fake link and then take your money as well. So I need to look at all the expense sites, including the cyber and everything. I'll just take 10 seconds to say a few things. Not just insurance industry, I guess everything is due for disruption. It's already been because the music industry got disrupted by a company called Apple, which used to produce high-end laptops, right? The government launched UPI, toffee business took a hit, right? And if you look at Netflix and Amazon Prime, largely benefited the Zomato, Swiggy of the world. So there is an interesting case study on who's your competition, right? It's not your direct. Because when BlackBerry went to zero, they had a 35% market share. And they thought the play that Apple has bought in is on the hardware side. But later they found out it's not the hardware of the App Store, which is on the software side. Because BlackBerry did come out with a touch phone. But the success of Apple is on the App Store, not necessarily on the hardware side, right? So what I want to say is that not just insurance industry, every industry is going to be due for disruption, and you don't know who your competition, who's your disruptors, who your partners are.
Super. Madhan sir, I wanted to ask you, see today we have a wide set of people here. Okay, tomorrow if let's say you have somebody who's doing very well in his job, suddenly after seeing the panel discussion, he decides to become an entrepreneur. He decides to become an entrepreneur, leave his job. You ask him, why are you leaving? He says, no, I'm really inspired by Mr. Madhavan. I will leave my job. Okay, I will become an entrepreneur and I will take risk. So in a situation like today, because you started it somewhere in 1995, 95, that's when? 2005? 2005. So what is your advice? I know it is a very difficult question for you to answer in 2 minutes. So should they hang around with the job what they have? Because you are assured of increments every year, right? Why take that risk of identifying an agency, creating a brand, creating different colors? When you are being paid well, you have your EMIs to take care of. Why should somebody become an entrepreneur? Why should somebody take that risk?
Quite a complex question, yes, put. Word of caution, after the summit, don't enter into, business just because we all spoke here. It's not as easy as what you see. And don't hold me responsible, Shankar. To me, risk is nothing but it is a manifestation of fear or uncertainty. When we want to do something, we don't feel like doing or we feel it is risky to do is because we are scared of what we are doing or there is no clarity in what we are doing. This one has to be very clear whether you wanted to become an entrepreneur or you wanted to continue in a job. You must know yourself first, what you are. The rest of the thing happens smoothly. To know what you are, you have to work towards building yourself to be somebody who can resist things that is not convenient to you, things that is not pleasant to you. That means there needs to be a lot of preparation. For example, Mr. Shankar just asked me, you worked for quite a few years in an organization. I worked for about 30 years, exactly 30 years in my organization. And suddenly you stumbled upon business. Did you never thought there is a risk in this business? I didn't thought that it is a risky because I had competency on the business which I am venturing into. I had capability in setting up the business. When I say capability, you should be resourceful. For example, one of the toughest thing in any business is getting right people at right place. If you fail to get right people at right place, you will not be able to do your business fairly well. Now, from where will you get right people at right place? Question number one. Question number two is, how do you retain right people at right place so that they become a part of your business? For instance, in PEPS, we adopt what is known as learning organization. You may believe, you may not believe, my vice president was purely an operational person. He worked abroad in operations. He is a qualified MTech fellow in mechanical engineering. But he became vice president marketing and he did extremely well and he is doing extremely well. That means the organization taught him how to do marketing by teaching him or involving him in the basic marketing concepts and thinkings. So two things, one must be clear. If you know yourself what you are doing, if you are capable of doing what you can do, then rest of the thing will not be a hindrance for you. Risk is again, is your fear or uncertain. Did I answer your question properly?
Thank you very much. And I think we're running out of time, so we can ask questions offline with the captains here. Thank you, Bangalore. And that's it.
Thank you, sir. We request Ms. Shailaja Saraswati Varghese, Group CCO Omnicom Media Group, to felicitate Mr. Chitti Babu and Mr. Rishikesh Damble. I kindly request all guests on stage to gather for a picture. Ma'am, Shailaja ma'am, for a picture, please. Everyone, one more picture, but just in front of the table, please. Thank you all for valuable insights and contribution to the discussion. Let's move on to the next leadership session 2. May I invite Amin Lakhani, Chief Executive Officer, Mindshare South Asia, as moderator. I request Mr. Gagan Sehgal, Senior President and Chief Operating Officer, Page Industries, Mr. Jairam Rajaram, Managing Partner, Brill, Mr. Anil Palala, Co-founder, CEO, Silly Monks Entertainment Limited, Mr. Harsh Bandari, CEO, Republic Media Network, as panelists on stage, please.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Shankar and team, for the opportunity. I am very glad to be part of the South India Content Summit. I just got confused between my designation, which is South Asia. Right. So, you know, one of the most important things that we do when we come for summits like this is to meet new people, and like many of us here, I've met 3 new friends today, you know, on this dais. I've been knowing Harsh for the longest time, and we'll talk about that. But other than that, Anil from Silly Monks, Gagan from Page Industries, and Jairam from Brill are 3 new friends that I'm making, and I'm hoping that I'll carry on this connection over a longer period of time after this as well. So on that interesting note, the first question that I want to open up, and before I open up the questions, I want to invite each and every fellow member over here to kind of introduce yourself to this entire august audience in front of us. You can start from here.
Hi, I'm Anil Palala, and I'm the co-founder of an entertainment company called Silly Monks Entertainment. We are one of the content production, marketing, and distribution network focused in South India.
Harsh.
I am Harsh. I'm the CEO for Republic Media Network. Last 30 years I've been into news business. I started my career in retail with Pepe, and thereon I joined NETV Media for about 10 years. I was with Times Network for about 8 years. And since 2017 till date, I've been with Republic Media Network.
Yeah, hi, good morning. I am Gagan Sehgal, currently working as Senior President and CEO with Page Industries, Jockey and Speedo India. I've been working for around 22 years, started my career in banking, worked with HSBC and American Express. Then I had a 10-year career with Telecom, worked with Vodafone for 10 years. 6 years I worked in healthcare as director with Fortis Group and CEO with Apollo Hospitals. Post that, for the last 4 years, I've been in the apparel industry working with Page. A pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Amin. Thank you, Shankar, for this wonderful opportunity to be here. My name is Jairam Rajaram. I'm the managing partner of Brill. And, you know, if you've grown up in South India, you might have used Brill inks. My grandfather started that. I'm the third generation in this business. So I've been working for 22 years with Brill, managing Brill. And my grandfather started off this company selling fountain pen inks on a bicycle. So, you know, it's thanks to him and thanks to God's grace that I'm sitting here today, you know, after 22 years of guiding this business, almost dying as a business during COVID, and then, you know, pivoting into home care and getting into personal care, and hopefully taking on the biggies and building a brand out of India. So thank you very much. It's an honor and privilege to be here.
Right. And now, you know, people in the agencies know how to follow the brief. So the brief given to me is to run a leadership session here. So, so my first question is to open up to the panelists, and a very simple question, right? What is that one leadership trait or element that you cherish or value the most, and why?
Okay, for me, we are more like a startup. So for a startup, it's always a bootstrap budgets, right? So what we have done is we have positioned ourselves as you know, one training center kind of thing. Like, you know, we always hired freshers and train them, and you know, make them experts in the particular domain. And thankfully, we have you know, kept our budgets in control and made, you know, a successful road into it. And even today, we hire more freshers than existing senior executives.
So fresh talent and training them in-house is your mantra to success, if I were to kind of just summarize.
Yeah, and that too, because of the content, we always look for new, fresh thoughts coming into the system.
Yeah, that just invites me to ask you a follow-up question. If you didn't have budget constraints, would you still hire freshers, or would you hire some other people?
I think I'll still continue to do that.
But then budgets is not
after
there.
10 years also, we're doing the same thing, right?
Yeah. So then, you know, budgets is not the thing. I think hiring fresh talent and then grooming them in-house is your mantra to success. Good. Thank you so much. Harsh?
Yeah, actually the feeling of being an entrepreneur while you're at job is the one thing which I cherish the most. And, you know, I would like to say on behalf of every team member in Republic Media that it has a great feeling of empowerment, feeling of entrepreneurship while you're at the job, which we all cherish. And yes, the adrenaline and the passion that we are a very young team, a young brand. And over the last 5 years, all of us have got the opportunity to be part of some startup every year. So that's something which I really cherish.
Nice. Thank you, Harsh. Nagan?
Yeah, so what I enjoy basically is working with large teams and creating value to people in terms of growing fresh talent. You know, the hallmark of leadership, as they always say, is creating more leaders. So that's one. Second, I think you can do this by being a very decisive leader. And I've always believed all my life that leaders come and go, but the ones who are remembered are the ones who have taken decisions. Whether the decisions are right or wrong, but people always remember that this guy came, had a position, he was a leader, and he took certain decisions. And more often than not, they turn out right if you take the decision with the right heart and with the right data. So I think that decisive leader who makes difference in the life of people is something which I really enjoy. Thanks.
Like there's an old adage which says that, you know, great leaders take decisions and then work to making them right, in a way, right? So thank you, Gagan, on that note.
Yeah, so, you know, today at Brill, we are fortunate to have touched the lives of 500 million people over 60 years of our existence. So, you know,
That's quite commendable.
So the leadership trait that I feel is most important is credibility. When I first joined the organization, every time I would want to bring up a change, a call would go to my father, saying this guy is going to mess the company up. And because I didn't have credibility. So as a leader, it takes time to get all stakeholders on board, whether it is trade, whether it is your own employees. People have been there before you. So I think acknowledging the fact that you've got to build credibility, in my opinion, is the most important trait of a leader.
Wonderful, wonderful. And talking about credibility and then building on, it's been quite a journey for you, Jairam, right? And right from what the company originally started off to where it is right now, I think there's some amount of transformation that you've kind of been through. You want to tell us more about your journey in the last few years, especially when your company was transforming?
Yeah.
And the challenges from it being a local brand to fighting the mighty global leaders.
Yeah. So as far as my journey is concerned, as I said, I started around 22 years ago, and so I worked all of 9 months at Infosys because I wanted to prove to myself that I can get a job after my engineering. Post which I joined the business and then did my MBA and got in. And my father is a kind of leader who wouldn't tell me what to do. So for several days I would go in and sit in office and not know what to do. So then I said, okay, let me go into the market. Okay. So my first lesson started off visiting the retail and wholesale markets, which is a humbling kind of experience because you've done your MBA, you feel you know everything, you've handled case studies, you've been the CEO of a Southwest airline, you've been the CEO of a Nike. You start believing that when you go into the markets, people are going to stand up and respect you. No, you get shot down. Your products are rubbished. It's a major bruise to the ego. So as far as building a brand is concerned, it takes a lot of iterations. So I've always wanted Brill to be an overall consumer products brand. So we were a one product company for several years. My father diversified into allied school and home stationery products, some office stationery products and things like that. When I came in, I started bringing in many more products, and the journey continued. We were chugging along till COVID hit. When COVID hit, nobody in our wildest imagination had thought that schools would be closed for 2.5 years. When schools were closed for 2.5 years, we were literally at 30% of revenues. And we had salaries to pay. By God's grace, we were able to pay everybody and not let go of anyone. But that's when, I was literally hit on the back saying, this is the time that you've got to pivot and move into categories. Being too focused in one industry also can become a challenge. So that's when, we diversified into the home care category, and soon we'll be getting into personal care. And we are looking at some category disrupting changes that are going to happen. I can't speak about it now, but this has broadly been my journey. Having said this, I mean, if the audience can get a mic, I'd like a woman to answer this. Is there anyone who would like to volunteer? Anyone? Any woman, please? Yeah. Can you pass the mic to them? Thank you. Which brand of detergent do you use?
Surf.
Okay. Which brand of toilet cleaner do you use?
Harpic.
Okay. Which brand of shampoo do you use?
Head and Shoulders or Unilever.
Great. So I'm very glad that I've got the answers that I wanted. Thank you very much. I didn't get your name.
I'm Sujoti, and I'm the founder and CEO of MyStyle Communications.
Thank you, Sujoti. Thank you so much. So what we've just heard is true with almost 75% of households in urban India and at least 60% of households in rural India. So what this means is we are sending rockets to space. Okay, we are landing on the south pole of the moon. But for our daily essential products, we are relying on companies that are predominantly owned by foreign companies. So 90% of the earnings, all the products that she mentioned were owned by Hindustan Unilever, Procter & Gamble, and Reckitt Benckiser. Okay? So Hindustan Unilever owns 62% of the, Unilever owns 62% of Hindustan Unilever, and they pay out 90% as dividends, which means 54% of all the earnings and value addition that is happening in India is leaving the country. Okay? So I think as marketers, we have failed somewhere in building powerful brands. Why is a Brill ink remembered? A Brill ink is remembered because of the emotional connection between the consumer and the brand due to shared experiences. You playing with a fountain pen ink in school, probably splashing your friends and things like that. So how do you actually extend that emotion to a new category is the challenge that we are facing. I think we can count on our hand, literally fingers, the Indian brands which have really done well. Harsh Mariwala took on HUL and decimated Nihar. How was that possible? Why is it that Nihar, with all the the ad budget that HUL had, couldn't actually take on Marico? It's because of the emotional connect that the Parachute brand had built over generations. So I think we don't extend brands, we extend emotions.
Thank you. That was a very, very interesting perspective and something that the CPG category can take back home. Coming to you, Gagan, you mentioned in your first response about, on the talent side of things, right? And I just want to come to you by saying that what are the initiatives perhaps in your company that you specifically are trying to drive to make sure that it becomes a place to work for, Page Industries looked up to as a company to work for in your industry? That is one. And are there any specific initiatives or areas that you do to kind of retain great talent in your organization? And I have a follow-up question to this, but I just want to warm up the audiences with this starting question there.
Yeah, so I think, we have to go back to the history of Page when it came to India, and our chairman from Philippines came in and started this brand, being the licensee of Jockey. And at that point of time, when you would look at innerwear, it was a product that used to be hidden inside the shelves when you go to outlet. And you would buy it in a hush-hush manner, in a poly pack. But I think it was the vision of that man that when he came to the country, he brought innerwear out of the closet and out there displayed, right? And the fashion shows that happened at that point of time and the entire pride around the brand, that people started shopping for innerwear and apparels with more pride rather than in a hush-hush manner. Now that was the thought process which that man came with. Now initially was it easy? It was not. I think in the first 5 years we were only laying the foundation, and I think Jockey India at that point of time did a piddly revenue of maybe just 50 crores in the first 5 years. But that was a time when the foundation was being laid. And after that there was no looking back, because every year we doubled and today we have crossed 5,000 crores of revenue. So the entire DNA of the organization is being very close to the consumer, what the consumer wants, to be disruptive, right? And to have a business model that is sustainable. Now, this is a DNA and the culture that is there with every employee. Even when I joined the organization, the first thing that was told to me was, we have got you because you tell us what to do. We can't tell you what to do, right? So do something new. So from the grassroots level till the top level, till the CEO level, everybody works like an entrepreneur. This is your baby, this is your cost center. What do you want to do? You're fully empowered. So I think, I always talk about empowerment. If you have employees, either you tell them what to do, this is your job, then they will just end up doing a task. But if you tell them that this is something, this is a problem statement and we want you to solve it, and you are the best person who can solve it, that's why we have brought you on board. That is when people start thinking that I have to work like an entrepreneur. I have to work like that Mr. Ashok Ganimal. I am the CEO of my territory. Today we don't say somebody who's, say, working in a South Delhi market. If you ask him, you are a relationship manager, but we don't talk like that. We say you are the CEO of South Delhi. What are you going to do about it? You are a mini Page out there. So I think that is the entire culture of the organization, where we are very open. We like, we always say talent before title. So while you have a title, but talent always oversees that. If there is somebody at a very lower level who can come across and talk to me as the senior president and say, this is what I think is the right way to go. This is what the market is talking, and you hear me out. I think I'll be duty bound to hear him out, right? And understand, because he's closer to the market. So I think this is how we nurture talent in terms of effective open communication, empathy, making things very, very simple, and everybody working like an entrepreneur. I think that is the way, and that has been the magic that has got created in this organization by working like this.
Wonderful. I think the people over here writing the news articles have really found a wonderful headline title, Talent Before Title. I think it's a wonderful way to articulate and sum that up. Thank you, Gagan. And I'm just saying that in this entire challenging and difficult environment, given that that the business environment has become extremely complex, and there are so many situations where tension comes up within teams and within our conversations as well. Management tells us that we have to be assertive as leaders, right? How do you see or draw a line between being assertive and when does this become rude or aggressive?
I think that's a very good question, and I think for anybody to be successful, be it a leader or be it any professional or in the personal space, if there is one trait that is very important, it is being assertive. If you are not assertive enough, you will not be able to express your opinions, your ideas, your thoughts, your feedback to others in the most effective manner. Now, it sounds simple, but the challenge is that there's a very thin line and balance whether you are being assertive or not. Now, if you underplay it, then you will come across as having lack of confidence because you're not assertive enough. And when you are, communicating your ideas to people above, maybe to your bosses, and you have a good idea, but you're not assertive enough, he might feel that you yourself are not convinced and you lack the conviction and you lack the confidence. So obviously you will not be heard with that much seriousness. And as a manager, when you're talking to your team and you think you are being assertive, but you come across thinking from the boss's chair, then you come across maybe at times by being too pushy or arrogant or aggressive. Like making a statement, this is a target, you need to go ahead and do it. That's your job. Now that's not being assertive enough, right? But if you go across and communicate that this is something what the company has decided, and I think there is a vision in place and together we can achieve it. And how can I help you to achieve it? I'm sure you can. It's a tough goal, but together we can do it. Now you're being assertive in a way, you're being empathetic. So I think the communication and the compassion, when that comes into place and keeping the respect in mind of the other person whom you're talking to and inviting him for his opinion as well, is when you will be assertive. Otherwise you can always, cross that line of being maybe aggressive or being arrogant or maybe underplaying and coming across as underconfident. Yeah. But I would like to say that this assertive culture for any organization is very important. Now imagine an organization, or all of us sitting here, we are an organization, and in our culture, assertiveness is really encouraged. It's going to always eliminate conflict. Because if you're assertive enough and you can communicate your thoughts and opinions to your peers and superiors and people who report into you, there will never be any conflict, right? There won't be any ambiguity. There will be far more transparency. But it's I think, easier said than done. Yeah. Sitting here, I think all of us can relate to that movie of Sam Bahadur. Yeah. And I think that's one great example where, one of the legendary field marshals of our country, when the then prime minister was carried out in emotions. And when there are emotions, you can't be assertive, right? That time you will come across as being aggressive. She wanted him to go for a war. And that was the time when he knew that he can lose the war. But the way he played with the prime minister in terms of his communication, and he said that if we go for the war before monsoons, we will lose. But obviously, you are my prime minister, you still tell me to go for a war, I'll go ahead and fight it. So he said, I will go ahead and follow your orders, though I don't believe in it. But he also said, if you allow me to wait till monsoons, I will win this war for you. So he was able to communicate to his superior, to the most powerful woman in the country, you are asking me to do something, this is my opinion. He was assertive, but I will still follow you if you believe in yourself, but I can tell you as a subject matter expert, we will lose. But if you listen to my opinion, we will go ahead, wait for a couple of months, I'll win it for you. So I think that thin line when you communicate, to people above, peers, or people reporting into you, I think that balance is the key. And I think compassion and the right communication is the key towards being assertive in the right manner.
Very wonderfully said, and it actually took me an extremely passionately articulated point as well, right? It actually took me back to the opening session this morning where Swamiji said that, one needs to really gather the courage to say the right thing in a nice manner. If I were to just connect the dots between. So I think the theme for the day is saying the right thing in a nice manner. And that brings me to my friend Harsh from Republic, right? And very interesting background and history. I know Harsh from when he was in NDTV. And Harsh, I want to ask you that same question, that when you were in NDTV and then there was news, and at that point in time, news was niche, to news now, and I'm not news now as in not Times Now, I'm talking about news now, right? I hope there's no channel called News Now, right? How do you think news as a genre has evolved, and what do you think how has it pivoted into content creation that the world has started to make note of?
First of all, I would like to put a disclaimer. I mean, if your questions are well answered, you're leading a large number of brands. Make sure the RO size are also very large once we leave this platform. But to come to your question, I feel that you're talking about NDTV in days of 2002, 2003 when I joined them. I came from a star background where I was selling a youth channel, and then suddenly I moved to news. News was definitely niche that time because it was the first entrant into the market as a full-fledged 24 hours channel. And it had its relevance at that period of time and that time of society when people were accepting news as a full-time genre. Post which, I think in came the entry of more networks and more channels, which kind of challenged the status quo in the way journalism was being presented. I would like to say that our then anchor of Times Now, Mr. Arnab Goswami, was the leader in terms of setting the narrative and setting the tone of the country, where he, the kind of ownership came from the audience as to what they wanted or what they expected from news as a network. Just to give you an example, if you take back your memory to 26/11 attack, or you take back to the prince falling at the borewell, and we were at that time part of Times Now, which was an English news channel. The whole country owned up to that content. The whole country backed as to what is that the country should be standing up for, what the country should be looking forward to, or how the country united as far as the content which they were accepting at that particular time. In the current scenario of things, I think the genre has matured a lot. It has moved from Saas Bahu, Sajish to Saab Sidi to Manoranjan during afternoon time to about 100% news, and that's the space which Republic Media has set the tone and kind of owning it right now. I think as a genre, it has been taken more seriously, especially during the phase of COVID. Just to speak a little bit of data backing this is that there was a time where news was having a 4%, 5% share as far as viewership in the total of TV viewership. It moved to about 10% average, and during COVID time it moved to about 18%, 20% share. That kind of showed the acceptance of the viewers, consumers, advertisers that yes, it's a serious genre. It has definitely taken a center stage as far as whether it's advertising, whether it's the media mix planning, or whether it's their information, which they are kind of expecting from news channels. So I feel that yes, it has come a long way. I mean, from 2002 to 2023, it is now kind of setting the tone or setting the pulse of the nation as far as the content is concerned.
That was for me, for the entire panel, or only Harsh? Because somebody was ringing the bell.
Yeah, I'm not used to speaking on the mic so much.
No, please note he's also a sponsor. Sorry. Yeah, just coming back to Anil, tell us about your journey in Silly Monks as a company, and in terms of content creation, and how has it matured in the Indian context?
Silly Monks, we predominantly started as a YouTube network. We are one of the enterprise partners with YouTube, and our role is to empower these many independent creators to make YouTube as their primary revenue source, right? So today, as on today, we manage about 450 plus channels, various independent creators. So it's like content from a short content to taking it to a bigger speed. Today, the creators are coming on to YouTube, OTT platforms, also television channels. So the formatted content has been adapting now, and the other side is the film side. Like we have produced about 5 films so far. The reason we have got into films is like majority of the investors from various industries try to get into film as an entertainment. They end up with some random mediators, and that's the reason entertainment is never considered as a industry per se, right? So we are trying to bridge that gap, where being a bridge between investors, creators, and the market, and make it as a profitable venture. So we have got it to this phase. Like, we just finished 10 years.
Extremely exciting. The reason why I find it extremely exciting is because content play in the country was always with people with deep pockets or great network, or and some such thing. But converting this into from a startup perspective and making it as successful as you all have made, and then listing it into the exchanges. Just tell us how this journey has been so far, because it will be inspiring to know that.
Yeah. So going public is like the thought should be from day one. The way when the inception of the company, where me and my partner, Mr. Sanjay Reddy, is not here today.
Anil, you want to hold the mic very, very close to you, because people can't.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. So going public, that DNA has to be there from day one of the inception of the company. So because going public, you have to go through a lot of compliances, and you're naked in the market, right? So from day one, you have to make sure your accounts are clean, and that's the journey starts from there, and that's how the going public happens. So it was a great journey for us. It's a learning, and every quarter is a chase, as we were just mentioning, and it puts onto the nail and make sure that we are performing, right?
Yeah. On the stock market journey, it wouldn't be right if I don't invite Page Industries and Gagan to share his thoughts about how has this company managed to keep the premiums up for years together, and even till now, if I have to invest in Page Industries, I keep thinking that should I or shouldn't I, and all of that. So, but Gagan, over to you, and just tell us, because it's an incredible task. Doing an IPO is one stage, sustaining in it is the second stage, but making sure that there is, the multipliers, the premiums throughout your journey are intact in place, and that is wonderfully done by Page Industries. So can you throw some insights onto it?
Yeah, but your question that you're still thinking whether to invest or not, of course you should.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it's been an incredible journey when it comes to the stock prices of Page. And I started by saying in the previous question, I think it's the strong fundamentals which the company started with. Now, when a company enters, and Page was a startup 25 years back, there is always that greed of whether to take shortcut or whether to invest in long-term sustainable business, which will continue through the tests of time. And that is what Page did. Now imagine at that point of time, you launch an apparel brand and you launch an innerwear brand. It's very easy to go to your large format stores and discount yourselves and, give in to that temptation to immediately get the immediate revenue and sales, right? To prove to yourself and to the, consumers at large. But I think that is what didn't happen. And I think one very strong thing of Page is that the way We have built our entire distribution network. I think this is the only apparel brand today which gives direct service to almost 120,000 MBOs across the country. Apart from being present in the large format stores and the D2C business, and apart from having our 1,400 own company-owned stores, which is our exclusive brand outlets, where the consumer can come and experience your brand. Now, this is the reach, which is very important. But before the reach, what is important is the quality of the product. And, while you had asked a question, I'm sure if I ask most of, especially the male members sitting here, how many are jockey consumers, and do they even think before buying jockey? I think it is intuitively ingrained in your DNA. When I go out and buy innerwear, I will buy jockey. You don't even need a reason. You know it. If your wife is going and shopping for you, she'll pick up. This is the style I want, this is the color I want. And I've been buying that for years because there is no reason to change, because the quality standards have been maintained over the years and only become better. Right? The fit, I don't think anybody can ever come and really match up to that. So because of that, you have this dominant market share, which has only been increasing with time. I've worked in healthcare, and I like to give you this example, and I've headed one of the largest hospitals in Asia, and which are JCI accredited, where the people who look at quality are maybe 5% of the total hospital population. But in Page Industries, I was surprised when I went for my induction to our factories, and most of it is in-house production, so you are in control of your quality. 30% of the manpower invested in factories are looking after quality. So which shows that the focus on quality is so high. So because of which it's the confidence of the consumer, and which brings in the confidence of the investor, which feels that while you are a dominant market leader, there is still so much more to do. There's still so much headroom to do. They have so much confidence in you. And the kind of expansion that we are doing, you started with innerwear, but today we are the largest athleisure brand in the country. If you look at Jockey Juniors, there is an entire world out there for children where we are making remarkable products. Right? When you talk about women innerwear, we are just penetrated by 8%. So when investors look at you and they know that you are here for the long haul, and you are still so underpenetrated, our population is our biggest asset. Right? And more people are looking towards upgrading themselves. There are still so many regional players who are operating. But I think all the economy segment consumers eventually have that aspiration to move to affordable premium, which is what Jockey gives. So I think we are very, very confident in the entire strategy that we have in place and the strong fundamentals. I think that is the reason for the stock price and the kind of dividend which shareholders are enjoying quarter after quarter. I don't think too many brands can really boast of that.
One more investor is on his way. Okay, coming to you, Jairam, a very incredible story of pivoting into business and then now fighting the big multinationals. Right? We want to hear about your perspective on importance and value of customer care. Right, in your business, from your perspective.
Yeah. So, ever since I got into the business, I put the customer at the center of whatever we do. Instead of, going on a theoretical basis, I'll give you an example. So, there have been many cases, like this. All of us are in the hospitality business today. So, you're not just a product business. So, the jockey story tells us how the consumer is king. So let us say, this was around 2015 or 16. There was this frantic call from a principal of a school who said, see, I've been using Brill products for so many years. Your latest batch of pens are horrible. Okay, so this is a feedback that came to one of my managers, and she was a personal user, and her students were using the product. There was a batch that had somehow gotten through QC, and there was a genuine problem with the product. So what we did was, we went to that school. Yeah, the manager went to that school, made sure that the principal got a range of our top end pens, came back and told them that, for that particular month, all their students would get free Brill products. Okay, so service recovery is not only in 5-star hotels like the one we are sitting in. Okay, service recovery and customer centricity happens even with, product-based companies, and we have to take that very seriously. If we don't take that seriously, we are not in business. So I tell people that profits are everything for a small business or a large business or anything, but transactional profits are not. So, your marketing dollar goes the extra mile when you put the customer at the center of everything that you do.
And thank you so much for that wonderful perspective that customer orientation and serviceability is not only in the service industry, but it can also be applied from a CPG perspective.
Also, if I may take this opportunity to tell Jairam that we are with you. As a network, we are nation first. So we would like to be part of your journey.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love Republic.
Harsh doesn't leave an opportunity for making money here, there, everywhere. But anyway,
I love what Arnab is doing for our country.
Okay. So what we will do is we'll move into the last segment, and which is the audience. As much as our people are important, as much as our business is important, I think we wouldn't do much, or we wouldn't be able to shake much out of our businesses if we wouldn't read our audiences well. And Anil, starting from you, we want to hear your perspective. What is your effort or the secret sauce of understanding what does the audience need, and therefore create custom content, bring in vernacular versus non-vernacular conversation?
So, being original is what the key is, and being connected to the culture is the prime point that need to be noted for any content creator when it comes to the filmmaking and all this part. Even when we do brand integrations and all, it's like every brand want to reach to that particular market, and how you integrate that with that culture is where, right? So, the takeaway for audience is whatever you do, be original and try to be connected to your culture. That will be for outside audience, it will be like they want to know exchange of culture.
So audiences, culture, nuances, very, very important. On that note, in the next 6 months, India is going to have one of the biggest spectacle, and this is not a plug from Republic TV. This is generally talking about the biggest event of democracy coming up in our country. And I'm sure all content creators are preparing for engaging the content with what is going to happen across the country, across all our states in different languages and all of that. And I want to...
And thank you to the technology that, today we can, translate content to more than 60 plus languages. So you're no more regional, you are global.
Fantastic. And on that note, why don't I bring in Harsh to tell us how are content companies and especially Republic preparing for this entire real-time, non-fiction content unearthing over the next 6 months?
I think it's not about just the upcoming general election. It's been a year of news. This last 1 year has been exciting year for news, and even going forward, right from, straight election to a historical date on 22nd of January, the country is going to witness, great events after events. Of course, leading up to the general elections, it is definitely the World Cup for any news network. And I think this year, on that note, I will also like, from content point of view, I like to say that as an event general election, I don't know of any event which covers the length and breadth of the country the way election does, because, with the kind of reach the news channels have, you take our network for that example, we're reaching out to almost 62 crore people on an annual basis and almost 12 crores touching. And we're expecting this to grow about by 18-20% during the general election time. Keeping in mind that we also have, other challenges during that point. Even then, I feel that, with IPL around the corner also in April, I feel that news will stand out. Brands will find a way to explore and exploit the marketplace in reaching out to their...
Thank you, Harsh. One line from both Gagan and Jairam on in terms of, is there something that you're very excited about from reading, how your company has put up a system of reading consumer insights for your business?
So I think, one of the successes for any organization is reading the consumer insights right in time, because in today's day and world, the disruption is happening because you don't read what the consumer wants, and consumer demands are changing faster than ever. Gone are the days when you would say that the consumer will buy what I'm producing. Today, you have to be far more agile. So I think our entire network of our D2C business and our entire, ears on the ground when it comes to the 120,000 sales points, the people on the ground that we have, whom we have deployed, and there are channels where we gather feedback on a daily basis on the change in consumer behavior. So I think that is something which is very exciting, that we get real-time data on a daily basis through our portal, which every sales team has in their hand through the handheld, and through our own exclusive brand outlets. So I think we are able to read the consumer feedback very.
So behavior patterns, leveraging technology are certain things that you are doing. Jairam, last words from you.
Yeah, since this is a content summit, let me tell you, for brands today, user-generated content and reviews stand right on top, because brands are losing credibility. So everybody is shouting through the roof, and mass media is important for awareness, but when it comes to credibility, I think user-generated content is very, very important. We have a brand called the Brill Rider, which is a balance bike for 2 to 5 year old kids. So today we are the world, India's #1 balance bike, because over a period of time, parents have been sharing their little ones learning to balance by the age of 2. So there's that wow factor. So how did we capitalize on that? We made sure that we had video contests and gave away free Brill Riders, the higher end of our Brill Riders, and we generated an engine of feedback which became a marketing engine. This is what an Apple has done to very, very successfully globally. So I think user-generated content, reviews, trump anything else as far as brand building is concerned and content is concerned.
Cool. So in the last 45 minutes, we've covered a lot of ground, right from thoughts on leadership to audiences, to leveraging technology in understanding consumer behavior, and much more. And thank you so much for this entire panelist for being patient and responding to all the questions, and you being wonderful audience. And thank you for keeping that bell ringing so that we can save 15 minutes and give that back to our audiences. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all for insightful contributions. So please be on stage for felicitation. I request Mr. Raja Ramamurthy, Managing Director, Trendloud Digital, to felicitate, and Anahita and Apurva on stage for felicitation. Mr. Gagan Singhal, Senior President and Chief Operating Officer, Page Industries. Sorry, that was Harsh Bandari, sir. Mr. Anil Palala, Co-founder, CEO, Silly Monks Entertainment Limited. Mr. Gagan Singhal, sir, Senior President and Chief Operating Officer, Page Industries. May I have you all for a picture, please? Please. Once again, photograph. Thank you all.
If there is one media company that truly represents Tamil Nadu, it is the New Generation Media Corporation. With its presence across the broadcast and digital space, Puthiya Thalaimurai is the #1 news organization in the state. Its footprint dominates every village, town and city in Tamil Nadu, besides the Tamil diaspora in various countries. PT News is widely followed for its measured debates and factual reporting. It brings world-class journalism to every living room. The hallmark of a market leader. Puthiya Thalaimurai.
Let's move on to next panel discussion 1, elevating brand experience through content. May I invite Ms. Shailaja Saraswati Varghese, Chief Content Officer, Omnicom Media Group as moderator. I request Mr. Arjun Bhatia, CMO and SVP Matrimony.com Limited, Mr. Sundar G, E-Commerce Head, General Mills, Mr. Yogesh Rohit Patel, MD and CEO, Vidvat Innovative Solutions Private Limited, Mr. Ranjit Kumar, Head Marketing, Air India Express as panelist on stage, please.
Tricky time of the day when hunger pangs have set in. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we all settle down, please? Can we all settle down, please? Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for your patience. I know it's that we are of the day when hunger pangs might have set in, but we'll keep it nice and engaging. This is the first panel discussion, and after all, it's content. It is entertaining, right? So we'll keep the interest on. Before I begin, I would like my panelists to introduce themselves. Arjun, let's start with you.
Sure. First of all, thanks, Shankar, for having me here. So, hi everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Arjun Bhatia. I am the Chief Marketing Officer at Matrimony.com. Some of you might know about it. It's a matchmaking company which has been there in the industry for almost 24 years now. I come with almost 20 years of experience, mostly been in marketing across my career. Started with FMCG, then a big chunk was in Samsung in consumer electronics and smartphones. And yeah, I've been here now for 3 years.
Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks first to Fourth Dimension for having me here. Privileged to be around with a lot of people. I'm Sundar. I head the e-commerce business as well as the South retail business for General Mills. For people who don't know, General Mills is a Fortune 500 company globally, foods company, there for almost 150 plus years, US-based company, around $20 billion turnover. But in India, lastly, for the last 25 years, we've been here. Popularly known through brands like Pillsbury. Pillsbury, of course, is the atta brand that people use. They also have cake mixes, food mixes, etc. There's also the Häagen-Dazs ice creams. If you come through the Bangalore airport today, you'll see a parlor there. It's one of our brands as well. We have a Nature Valley brand which handles the energy bars, and we have Betty Crocker which have pancake mixes. Good to be here. Good to share panel with all of you. Looking forward to a good discussion.
Hi, everyone. Ranjit this side. I've been with AirAsia close to 13 years. I don't have multifold experience, but this is my second job. I've been with AirAsia close to about 13 years. Started as first employee for AirAsia in India, and from 2 flights, 2 departures in a week to today about and 7,000 odd departures. That is what I mean shouldering the flight. Today I manage the website for AirIndiaExpress.com, and which close to turn around about 4,000 odd crores. Yeah.
Thank you. Hi everyone. First of all, thanks to Shankar and 4Dimension, and then Babu actually for introducing me to 4Dimension. My name is Rohit Patil. Actually, I had a company called Vidvat Innovative Solutions Private Limited. Basically, we are a techno-based company based out of Mysore, and we have offices all over Karnataka. And we basically cater to all rural schools, starting from Anganwadi to 12th standard in our rural language. So that's our introduction, and we already have an app on the Android and as well as iStore. So we are the only company which has got both manufacturing as well as a development center in Mysore. So that's my introduction. Thank you, Shailaja, and thanks everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. So I think I would like to start with the fact that, the juries and the panelists before and the leadership panels which we had earlier, I think one thing which is coming out clear is that entertainment content landscape is evolving very fast. And that's the daunting part for any marketer today, right? The VUCA 2.0 going on to 3.0, decision-making and the pace of decision-making is other daunting factors. And when it comes to content and technology, even more, because the kind of changes which are happening in this space is mind-boggling. If you just go for a 2-day leave and you come back and there is a new innovation which is launched in the market, it's as rampant as that. Or whether it's new, short video apps during the time of pandemic, to NFT, the huge cloud around metaverse, and now as we are going into 2024, it's going to be all AI, which we already tasted in the last 1 quarter. So my first question to all of you is, how do you handle this madness? And what are the things you're really looking forward to as trends for your particular industries in content and brand experiences? Start with you, Arjun.
Okay. So, see, the basic rule that we follow is wherever our consumers are going, we have to be there. So that's the the main rule that we have. Having said that, our industry, which comes to matrimony, it's not a passion point or anything like that. So our consumers are more or less everywhere. So what happens is we do have in-house resources, and we do have agencies with which we work with. We keep our eyes and heads onto the ground, and we're checking out what's happening. But a couple of things that we take care of is what our consumers are talking about, and are we relevant in that conversation or not. I personally, me and my team, we don't believe in this whole concept of trend jacking and all. While we do it at times, it's not that we don't do it, but we make sure that whether, as a brand, do we have a say in that or not. That is very critical for us. We don't pick up everything and anything which is trending on the internet. We try to see whether it makes sense for us or not. But yeah, the speed to market is extremely important.
One or two trends which you are watching?
See, on content, there is a lot that happens, especially in our case, because we are very relationship driven as a, as a brand. So one constant trend is celebrity weddings. Okay. Because, and there is something or the other which always is happening, and whenever we do anything around that, we get a lot of traction. So that is one thing which we take care a lot about. Then there are, of course, certain other moments which come in, across the year for different parts of the country, which we kind of talk about. Yeah, so those are the key ones.
Thank you. Sundar, what about you?
So we have categories ranging from like a commodity brand, which goes to every city, every town of this country, to a pancake mix, to a experiential ice cream. So we find technology is not so relevant for a mass brand like Atta, because there's still a lot of vernacular works, a lot of things you need to tell consumers very clearly, very functionally and emotionally. Yeah. But however, when you go for an experiential ice cream brand or a granola bar brand, we see that a lot of VR seems to be coming in, experiential reality seems to be coming in, and we sort of partner globally with a lot of firms to actually create content where we are able to actually give that experience to our consumers. We also see AI coming in, specifically from e-commerce portals, specifically in terms of recipes, giving ideas for recipes, or even AI influencers as such. But it's very nascent stage, but we see that we'll take that journey soon, especially for very niche categories, but not for the mass categories like Atta.
Sure. Thank you. What about you?
Yeah. Here it's more of two legs to its side. One is content and second is technology, and people are getting closer and people know like today, like why your flight is delayed or what is my alternative, how do I get my refund. And all of these things are people are aware, and how do we make it transparent to them, or how do we make it go closer to them. Like the recent use case, what we're looking at, collaborating with ChatGPT. And instead of your search, going and press 1, 2, we made it more of type, do I fly to Goa? What is my baggage allowance to this flight? So this is how your content evolves, or all of this thing. And second thing is in terms of travel is more of an content driven. People start their content making from the time of packing, just selecting suitcase, and if it is for domestic, and people by the time, it's a different dimensions altogether, right? Different experiences that what we, or people bring in, that is as an airline, bring to the new destinations as such for an international, and first time international, there's a lot of emotions as well. Like, there's a different feeling altogether when it makes, and it need to be like evolved. And we are, if you look at it, there are different geographies, we have different channels, people to express themselves. Like, TikTok, we are not there, but TikTok, other than India, we are there as such. Large content making. And Insta content is different from your Facebook content. And Insta, people come more for your job seeking and other thing. It's more younger. And it's just Facebook more transactional, meeting friends. And that's where it evolves. We've been keeping this content always on an evolved stage. So that's how.
Rohit, what about you? Interesting conversations we had outside.
Yeah. See, content in education industry is continuously evolving. In the sense, you keep evolving in education industry, because when we started our development, actually, we started with only making PPTs. Okay, and then teachers started saying that, no, you're just reading out whatever is there in the textbook. Then we started making animations out of it. So we started with 2D animations. And then 2D animations, kids did not find it so much interesting. Then we started doing 3D animations. So today, actually, after nearly six years in the content development, actually now we are into metaverse. So we are into immersive education. So that's the need of the hour now. So it's continuously evolving, in the sense we need to continuously update ourselves, because kids nowadays, they know what is actually happening in the outside world, and they want the best one, actually. So that's what I think. Now we are introducing AI also in metaverse. So that's kind of content is evolving. That's all.
Thank you. Thanks.
So actually picking up from where Ranjit said, right, on ChatGPT that they're using. Now, one of the things that we see as food brand is all our content on e-commerce platforms has gone through ChatGPT. We don't have today copywriters write down content. We are able to have ChatGPT. Most of the brands are actually using ChatGPT to actually post content on their web pages or their e-commerce pages. In fact, we are all used to taking photo shots of of the product itself and people enjoying the product. Today it's all, we have tools to actually make AI images of people who actually enjoy the photo, which is actually replacing humans as such. So those are things that we are seeing in specific top categories where the experience is very important. And as he's been speaking about, I think ChatGPT also plays a very, very critical.
Yeah, I think I have a conflicting point of view on this, but very prelim thoughts. AI can be your friend or your enemy or your rogue, right? It can play either way if it's not monitored and watched well. Coming to you, Arjun, influencer marketing has really evolved. Right, pandemic had its own relevance during the time because not many channels were available. But now I think the conversations I'm having with brands almost become hygiene, if I can call it, right? At every touch point, every phase of the campaign, it's like, we need to do it, let's do it, but it's not the main part of the campaign. Has it worked for you, and vernacular or its ROI? Can you share some insights around it?
Yeah, sure. So, influencer marketing actually has become a cornerstone of our performance marketing strategy. While the common thought is that influencers is good for some awareness, some consideration, but the way we are using it is very, very different. See, just to give you some context, Matrimony has around 300 brands in India, which we actively market. So it is based on religion, it is based on states. So for example, if you are sitting here, it's Kannada Matrimony over here. If you go to Maharashtra, it's Marathi Matrimony, Tamil Matrimony and all that. So we have regional matrimonies, then we have matrimony services by caste, because in India still 80% of people go for arranged marriages and want to marry within their caste and communities only. So the reason influencer marketing has become so strong for us, and especially for one of our products which we launched around 3 years back now, which is called Jodi. Jodi is a vernacular matchmaking app. It's basically for blue-collared workers, your typical cab drivers or retail sales girls, petrol bunk support people and all. So earlier they didn't have access to matchmaking or matrimony products because A, the products were very complex, and second, they had a lot of apprehensions about the product, whether it is for me, is it safe, trustworthy and all. So when we initially started marketing, obviously we also thought TV, brand campaigns and all that. We quickly realized when we did the test markets in some of the regions that probably this is not the right strategy. And that's when we started looking at influencer marketing. So rather than brand speak, we went for influencers, and over here influencers were not your typical, micro, macro kind of influencers. They were all very small nano influencers who are more content creators than really influencers. And the advantage with those guys were, A, they were speaking the language. Second, they were talking about the use cases on why this service is good for them.
So authenticity,
authenticity, credibility, peer-like communication, that started working. And now it's been over two years since we have been doing influencer marketing, and the way it has worked is, I think in a year we do minimum of 150 videos. So there is like almost, one video coming every other day. And this is all put into performance marketing campaigns, and we see very good ROI coming out of them. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for sharing. Sundar, what about you?
We do a lot of influencer marketing, and we also go very vernacular because one of the categories that I spoke about, the atta category, is eaten for different purposes and used for different purposes across states. It's a staple diet. For example, as roti is a staple diet outside of northern of the Vindhyas, but in a state like a Tamil Nadu or Andhra Pradesh, it is used as a weekend or a healthier alternative for rice, right? So when we have influencers who are regional or vernacular in nature, it really helps to drive home the message. We've had a campaign around a couple of years back where we're talking about kitchen is for everyone. That was a time when people were actually, all members of the family were cooking together post-COVID, right? So at that time we had a campaign which is called Not So Round Chapatis. Because one of the struggles with chapatis has been you never make it round. It's very difficult to make it round, whereas you can make rice very fast. So what we did with that campaign is we went very vernacular with that. We had separate influencers who were working in specific parts of TN, specific parts of AP, specific parts of Karnataka, because each one had a different objective. Whereas if you go to Gujarat, we're telling them how to make rotis faster. Here we're telling them what are the health benefits are there along with that. So for us, vernacular gives us reach in this category, and specifically for Atta as a category, it
Does
really
it drive, trigger the downward funnel ROI? Because there's always this question of business matrix versus media matrix, right, when it comes to influencer.
Absolutely. So see, the consumers of food actually shop everywhere. They shop in a e-commerce portal, they shop in a retail shop, they shop in a modern format store. So for us, only when it's sustained, it starts influencing the business metrics. If it does it a one-off or a 1 month kind of an initiative, it doesn't work. When it goes for much sustained campaigns, then it really starts picking up in terms of business metrics.
Minimum sustenance campaign would be what, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or
it'll
longer?
be 3 months. So I'm
3
assuming
months
3
minimum
months,
in
3 months.
influencer marketing.
Yes, 3
Loud and clear. I want everyone to hear this. This is very, very important point. And brands do look for performance within a week of influencer marketing campaign. It doesn't happen. Yeah. Thanks for making that point. Over to you.
Shailaja, in our case, probably if you look at influencer, probably we were one of who started pioneering influencer, right, way back. Just before influencer marketing, it used to be a fam trip with media to familiarize our destinations. How do you get to know Bangkok, or how do you get to know Maldives? So this is where very primarily like influencers use this, taking influence to a different destination, talking right about it, writing about an airline. This has been in at an initial level. It was at the top of the funnel. Then we started, then the digital things evolved. Then the digital, that initial, when we started, one of the use cases which I want to talk about was, we started a flight to Chennai to Bangkok, and people wanted to go to Bangkok. But people don't know how to get to passport. It is way back in 2016, where passport was an entry barrier. Like now only, you get a passport in 7 days or weekdays. That time it was 30 days, 60 days. We used another influencer, somebody called RJ Balaji, like quite familiar in South. So we did a program called Bangkok with Balaji. So we started his journey from his applying for a passport. Then he's going T Nagar to buying shop. Then he's going to 1,000 Lights for exchange currencies and other things. We taken different journeys of getting to a foreign trip, and he's applying with, we work with the Ministry of External Affairs as well, and we get him to apply for a passport real time. So this was all captured over a journey, over a radio, then over a period of time. Initially we were trying to fill in the Bangkok flight, and after that it became like, weekly 2 flights. It was weekly 5 flights, it became 2 weekly 14 flight. That is a kind of influences which influencers make to your brand as well.
So when you're talking about the messaging, right, have you seen better results when you let the influencer be to do the creative content authentically, or when it's scripted? Because I've seen a stark difference in the two outputs.
We also believe in more of authentic way of doing this. Subtly there's a purpose of you hiring the influencers as well, right?
Because they're not there to make ads.
And now, if you look at the journey of it was more of on top of the funnel, right? I know today, from top, then move to middle of the funnel. Now the influencers, at least in our category, they are at the bottom of the funnel. And people know destination, and everybody in the room are influencers. At least they're going to Kathmandu or Dubai or anywhere they're going, they're taking a picture and putting it across. They influence either one or other way to other people. But we work on currently with an influencers on more of an ROI model or more of an cost per sale model. It is at the bottom of the funnel, and that is how it evolves. I think we are looking for a next set of trend. How do we pick up this and making it much more working for us? Yeah.
Thank you. Rohit.
Yeah, our influencer marketing is the results that we produce, the results that kids produce by using our application. Okay, during COVID, we gave our 10th standard applications totally free of cost for 3 different districts in Karnataka, Ramnagar, Davangere, and the one more district was Hassan. Actually, these 3 districts, we gave our 10th standard mobile application totally free through some smart city projects and all. So nearly 14,000 students accessed our mobile application at that point of time, because there were no classes, absolutely no classes at that point of time. But we gave this, and News First actually helped us in doing that. So we gave it for first 3 districts, and then we gave it to entire Karnataka through our education minister at that point of time. You don't know the results that we got. It was really fantastic. So our influencer marketing is the results that we produce. The student actually was walking around nearly 3 kilometers to get a mobile network to access our app, a 10th standard student. So all those we have all the testimonial videos of those kind of students, because we cater to that particular basic root level of the students, not to the CBSE or ICSE kind of people, because there are nearly around out of 8 lakh students who take up 10 standard examinations, out of 8 lakhs, nearly 6 lakh students are government school students. So only 2 lakh students are those kind of premium students, kind of students. We cater to that 6 lakh students. So those 6 lakh students have used our application, and they have given tremendous results at that point of time. So that has influenced our application so much.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. So nothing works better like a customer testimonial, right? They become your influencers or affiliate, for influencer marketing, or what you just said, awareness and driving consideration. And for you, it's clearly ROI. One question for you, which I've been tempted to ask, which I did tell you that I'm going to ask, is, in the age of Tinder and the other apps, Bumble, there's matrimony.com. How do you spice it up? Is there any approach through AI, tech, or any new innovations which you're bringing in to make it more palpable to Gen Z and the new audiences?
So it's actually a complicated scenario that we are in. So I'll try to keep it short. So one is, of course, we are a 25 years old company, and matrimony is seen as traditional. In fact, a lot of people call it also the online version of arranged marriages. So there is a brand journey that we are taking. Obviously, the communication that we are doing. All these newer innovations that we're bringing in, be it influencer marketing or having a heavy presence on social, trying out newer things like, UGC content or...
You did something with virtual influencer as well, right?
Yeah. So, so I'll cover that also. So AI is important for us, and the way we are using AI, couple of places, of course, few are in the works also. One is we are using AI at the back end for making the recommendation engine much more stronger. So if I have a profile on matrimony and I'm looking at certain profiles, so the engine should be able to know that, these are the kind of interest or behavior patterns I have. So I give the relevant matches to that customer, because there are millions of people on that platform. How much can you search, right? It becomes overwhelming. So that is one which is at the back end, where we are making our recommendations engine stronger. The second one is in the front end, wherein a lot of people when they are building up their profile, they don't know what to write about themselves, or what is it that they are expecting in a prospective partner. So AI can actually help you with certain prompts. Once it starts understanding a little bit more about you, that what is it that you should talk about yourself. So you give certain prompts, and it will give you some recommendations, which then you can put up on your profiles. So that's the way we are using AI, and all these initiatives are towards building the imagery of the product, also the way within the product to compete with the Tinders and the Bumbles of the world. First of all, they are not our real competitors, because they are more in the dating space. It's a little casual, while matrimony is a more serious kind of a player. So the TG is slightly different. Dating normally is early 20s, matrimony or matchmaking is mid 20s to early 30s. So people graduate, but they have to have the similar kind of experience. So we are looking at the UI, the UX, the communication. So it's a complete package on that. Coming on to the AI campaign that we did last year, it was during Valentine's, and at that time AI had just come. I think it is the first brand campaign that was done in India on AI. So what we did was we created a virtual person. His name was Aditya Iyer, which was the full form for an acronym which is AI. He came on Instagram and within a week. So he was like a perfect person, obviously created by AI. He used to do poetry. He was caring about children, about pets, and he used to write what he wants, as a prospective partner. So we ran that campaign 10 days into the Valentine's, leading up to the Valentine's, and and we got some more influencers to further, propagate the message and all that. And within 10 days, he had over 10,000 followers. And on the Valentine's Day, we actually announced that Aditya Iyer is not a a real human being. He's an AI generated person, and for real matches who are imperfect, come to Bharat Matrimony, which is the brand. So that was one of our experiences with the AI campaign, and we used ChatGPT for his content, and for his imagery we used Midjourney. So it was a great learning experience for the marketing team also. We won a couple of awards for it also. It went very well. It got quite well.
What's his name again?
Aditya Iyer, which is
So Aditya
AI.
Iyer next would be proposing to Kaira, the virtual influencer.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we should continue that campaign.
Okay. What about you? Any experiences with AI so far?
AI, we do a little bit of recipe stuff where consumers can actually, like, for example, we have a lot of food-based products, right? We are ready to cook brand. So we use AI a little bit to actually suggest what they can do. Suppose we want to today make, say for example, a butterscotch pancake with toppings. They give us recommendations. We start sending out content on videos on how to make it, and then give a list of items that they have to add to their cart. So that becomes some part of where they are able to make the whole meal for themselves rather than only take products of, say, our products as such. So that's some way that we've used. But largely, it's just in evolving. We've just used, as I told you previously, for our e-commerce content in terms of pictures and for text. But we've still not gone fully into AI influencers on Instagram as such.
Thank you. For you, Ranjit, wanted to really know more about the Fly Like a Superstar campaign and Kabali.
Yeah, it's an evergreen campaign, right? Something that you have created first time, like, have you seen in Rajinikanth flying, right? Like, we wrapped it up, and in fact, we don't fuel this aircraft, right? Rajinikanth power flies itself, so it saves a lot of cost for us. So while we're talking about it, was first time, we wanted to do it in India. Like, India is not familiar of doing such kind of branding as such, and doing an celebrity on an aircraft wrapped and flying it over. It brings in that kind of excitement. Initially, when we planned this idea, people couldn't realize. When we unveiled the first picture, people didn't realize it's an original picture. Then we need to take off a bunch of influencers from Chennai to take it to Hyderabad MRO and show it, take pictures around, show it around, see that it is real. That is how it's been happening around. But it's been a fantastic campaign. We did this, because AirAsia India was, by then we are starting in India. Like, India was making us a sandwich, we started with one flight to Kochi, and Indigo was starting 2, and we put 2, and Indigo put 3, and we put 4, and Indigo put 6, and that's how it's been going on for us. And it was very tough time for us to create our own identity for us and create that own brand, differentiate with from, and again fighting with this, and that's why we pick up this campaign. And it works for us, in terms of creating, it could build and share of voice. While your market share was at 2.2%, your share of voice about on 30 to 35%. So that is a kind of power of Rajini which makes, right? And
thank you. Thanks for sharing. Rohit, we are very keen to know how have government schools adopted technology pre-COVID, post-COVID. What's really happening in that space?
Government schools, actually, I've been working with government schools since 2014 now. We have already catered to nearly more than 12,000 government schools all over Karnataka. Basically, the new gen teachers, they have embraced this technology and they are using it very, very well. Okay, but there are some teachers who are more than 56, some 57 years old, where they don't want this kind of technology because they feel that they are deprived of their skills. But the new age teachers, they have embraced this technology and they are using it very well. And now actually, as Arjun was telling that the AI, we are introducing AI in our curriculum now. Because I just overheard one of my close friends saying that she's a topper in our engineering and other AM Tech, everything. See, she being so tech savvy, today she was telling that, no, my kid needs more of my personal attention rather than these mobile applications and all. Then that thought came into my mind that we need to work more on the teachers' curriculum rather than bringing more applications for the kids. So we need to help more teachers, getting them more, in the sense, giving them more knowledge about the AI and the subjects which are available in the open market. So we are bringing out with that application so that the teachers will have more knowledge and they'll have more things to teach the children. And we'll leave it to the parents as well as the caretakers who do it to have an one-on-one teaching to the kids rather than going for mobile applications.
Sure. Thank you so much. I think the bell's been ringing, but I am, very curious to know a few more things. How much time is there? 10 more minutes, okay. The EdTech boom and the slowdown which happened, Rohit, and there is lots written and heard and talked about it. What is your perspective on it?
See, EdTech actually, I felt EdTech industry, it's always an one-to-one coaching to the kids, okay, because in my experience from 10 to 12 years now, the kids are more influenced when you teach them personally. Okay, so they can feel, the teachers can feel the emotion of the kid rather than actually if you go on the screen, the teacher can't even imagine what actually the child is going through, whether he's ready to take up that particular concept inside him or not. But when it's one-to-one, the teacher can immediately see that, so this kid is ready to take up that concept or he's interested in this concept. That's more important. And people actually, as a tech boom, people were more interested in valuation, okay, rather than education. Okay, so we have to remember what exactly is the basic things that the kids need, rather than concentrating on our company valuation or whatever it is. So I believe in that thing. So EdTech is still a very niche and green field, so that you just cater to what exactly the kids want or what exactly the teachers want. Okay, and even of course the parents are the first teachers. So you need to cater to the teachers and the parents what exactly they want so that they can pass on the knowledge to the kids, rather than directly giving the kids all the applications, all those things. I don't think so that will work.
Okay, thank you. See, activation and experiential marketing has also taken off in a big way, right? The whole of last year, at least year and a half, 18 months, we saw a lot happening in events, activations, concerts. A lot of brands were dabbling into it. Culture marketing is a big deal. We just heard the previous panel speak about it. So brand experience is our topic, and brand experience is incomplete without culture marketing, without playing on the purpose of the brand. Any examples you would like to share, Arjun?
Yeah, on purpose, in matrimony, the main purpose that we talk about is building better Bharat through happy marriages. So one of the campaigns that we did a year back, a little over a year back, was we came across a very interesting data point in Rajasthan, especially in Jaisalmer, that a lot of girls who are good in education after the 12th standard, they are normally discouraged from going for higher education. So this NGO had come to us and they were discussing this with us. So we thought about a campaign where we wanted parents to be encouraged to get their daughters who are deserving and who want to study further, go on and get their graduation or even higher studies done. So we came up with this campaign which was called Pehle Padhai Fir Shadi.
Pehle Padhai Fir Shadi. Okay.
Which was a little counter to what we stand for in terms of marriages. But if you see, the purpose is happy marriages, and happy marriages can only happen when there is equality in the relationship. You can't force someone to get married when that person has some other aspirations before she or she gets married. So that was the campaign that we did, and we offered scholarships to deserving girls who wanted to go ahead and study further. So it was one thing which is very close to my heart and to our organization's heart also. And the campaign had a very encouraging response.
Do you see it coming again?
Yeah. We are trying to make it much more bigger. In fact, rather than just restricting it to Jaisalmer, we want to take it to other parts of the country also.
Sure. Sundar, what about you? Thanks.
very starkly different example, but I'll talk about an example of Haagen-Dazs ice creams in London. Haagen-Dazs globally has been associated with films, big pictures, big film productions. So one of our new launches, and that's part of our experiential marketing campaign. So what we did was the Little Venice River that was there. We had a set of 130, 140 vessels which were there, boats, and we had consumers use the vessel. They were able to take a pass for it and use the vessels. And there was a huge screening of some of their favorite movies. And on that cruise was launched one of our products. So it was the first launch in terms of film being screened in Little Venice, they themselves rowing the vessels, was one of the very big experiential exercises that we took. And that actually became a step for us to be associated with film brands moving forward as well. Even during COVID, we associated with Prime to actually have a Friday Haagen-Dazs film weekend and stuff. So, but that's something that we've done. But in India, we've not been able to do much in terms of Haagen-Dazs ice creams as such.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Traveling is all about experiences, right? And we've been marketing every other day. But in our case, at least on recent cases, this is with Air India, right? So the experience with Air India goes this way: your app never works. So today, that's how we've been starting, and that's how one of our reviews itself. The phase one, what you have done is, app could send a notification. That's itself an first experience. You couldn't never work. And the second phase is how we have the app, you can do booking, check-in, and all of this thing. And today, the latest version of the watch, which we released last week, is where we can. It is compatible as good as it is dynamic island, where it goes back and goes in. When you go closer to the airport, your QR code pops up. So it's just much more bigger than the.
Some custom meals you were talking about.
Yeah.
Known
So
chefs.
look at the meals and other things. We have curated meals from Chef Kirti Botika and other stuff. So it's been like travel it's been an experience initially, then it's become a commodity, and now it's getting into an experiences again. And for us, it's getting back to basics to bring the Air India scheme of things itself, making work. So that itself, what is an experience that we've been working on. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Rohit, you mentioned something about some innovation with LED screens, right?
Yeah. Actually, now we have launched our new product. Our new IT Minister, Mr. Priyanka, launched our new product. It's an all-in-one LED projector, which will work on 2 operating systems, like both Android as well as Windows. And it has got a solar backup because, as we have seen from past 8-10 years, what exactly a government school requires. So we are coming up with a solar backup smart class system with an LED projector, which will take very less power. Okay, so this particular only one single panel will cater to this LED projector, which will run up to 8 hours non-stop. So that's a new concept that we have got. Okay, that was launched by our Honorable IT Minister, and that will be the next big thing. And we have 3 patents for it, and we'll be having our manufacturing unit in Mysore as well as in Uzbekistan also, because Uzbekistan government, we have signed up with Uzbekistan government recently last month, and they were actually amazed with the product. So they want to take this product there, and they are giving us the space, everything, and they are going to market for their neighboring countries, and we are okay with that. So that's the one thing that we have launched. And second thing that we have launched is one single application, one single platform, which will cater from Anganwadi to the PG courses.
Yeah.
One single application.
Yeah.
That's a new thing that we have launched.
All right. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
We're just wrapping up. And I think 3 emerging themes which came up today was, one is influencer marketing is not going to be limited to media matrix, but also business matrix with affiliate sales and, hitting the ROI down the funnel. Second was AI being the ally and not a rogue, as long as it's controlled. And third is experiential marketing, which is very interesting. I think it's a topic in itself for some other day, some other panel. But thank you, guys. Thanks. Had a great time having this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. May I request Mr. Gagan Sigal, COO Jockey, and Ramsai Panchapakesan, Managing Partner Investments, Havas Media India, to felicitate our panelists. Mr. Gagan Sagal, sir, Mr. Sundar G, E-commerce Head, General Mills. Mr. Ranjit Kumar, Head Marketing, Air India Express. Mr. Yogesh Patel, MD and CEO, Vidvat Innovative Solutions Private Limited. All guests on stage for a photograph, please, sir, please. South India Content Summit attained its glory today due to the patronage of our sponsors. Powered by Trendloud The Hindu, agency partner Omicron Media Group, innovative content partner Radio City, digital partner Seri One, regional partner Republic Kannada, Republic English, V6, Velugu, Puthiya Thalaimurai, Pudhiyugam, IBW, outdoor partner Tribes, news partner Republic TV, event partner Benchmark Events, associate sponsor Vigadan, stationery partner Brill, cultural infotainment channel Shankara TV, wardrobe partner Botticelli. Let's all come back more energetic after a short lunch break. Lunch is being served on the left. Here. Thank you.